Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. We're seeing North American stock futures back in positive territory once again this morning, coming off another big batch of big tech earnings after market yesterday. We're going to talk about all of them. So many to get through this morning. Apple, Facebook, the two big ones to discuss. eBay, though, an interesting chart this morning. Big move to the downside after a disappointing forecast going forward for eBay. We had the Fed yesterday come out talking very positively about the progress the economy is making in the U.S. and their thoughts on when things should start to improve as far as interest rates are concerned. As I mentioned, strong reports from both Apple and Facebook leading the way so far this morning. The NASDAQ futures in positive territory. Big day for earnings again today. 11% of the S&P 500 will report either this morning or after market tonight. We'll get Amazon, Twitter, U.S. Steel, Western Digital, just to name a few, all coming up after the close tonight. It was also Q1 GDP day, so we'll get that data just coming out here as we speak. In fact, we'll talk about that in a second. It's Thursday, April 29th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at futures there. You can see U.S. markets nicely higher right across the board. As I mentioned, the NASDAQ leading the way about a full percent already. 0.5% for the S&P, a quarter for the Dow. The TSX futures, little changed here in Toronto. Brazil's open trading sharply higher on the day. You can see cryptos doing not a heck of a lot this morning, but they are back in positive territory. So here we go. Q1 GDP, 6.4% to the upside versus an expected 6.6% change. So a little bit of a miss there, not a huge miss though. Weekly jobless claims data just out as well. It was down about 13,000, it looks like, 553,000 on the jobless claims for last week. So it's going in the right direction overall, a couple weeks in a row here. Busy day. Again, good morning, guys. It is Thursday already. We had just a slew of earnings. That earnings board we showed yesterday at the end of the day was just a mess. The one coming up today is, if you can believe it, it's even busier.
Okay, so
not more important.
It's busier in terms of the actual number of names that are going to be reporting, but it's certainly not more important, and that's nothing against. Look, we're not gonna shout down like names like Amazon who haven't reported yet, or but you talk about Facebook, you talk about Apple. Unfortunately, we're going to also have to talk about, apologies, I have CCL up here just because I made a trade into the long side as it bounced off of like 28.85. Now we're going to have to talk about eBay as well. So when your lunch gets taken, Facebook's gain, eBay's lost, and I think it's going to be one of those short situations today. A name like eBay, even though it's going to be to the downside. We are still looking for NEO to come through as well. So there are some earnings to get to. The Fed statement. Basically, nothing doing. They acknowledge inflation, but they're not concerned, even though everyone knows it's here. I mean, input prices keep going up. Palladium all-time highs. The good thing about it, and this is the key thing about that Facebook report here, Sean, is whenever you can raise prices and sell more, that means that the economy is strong, consumer is strong. This entire environment probably at least a little bit well suited for price increases, which I don't know how that would be transitory. If you can pass it along and the economy handles it, well, then they're probably there to stay. But either way, that's a great sign for the market, and that's why you're going to see us up that 1%. The big boys came through with strong earnings. Only one FANG name is disappointed, and only one will, and of course that was Netflix. That was Amazon's going to do well. They probably won't be as good as you saw from Facebook and Google, though.
Yeah, no, Microsoft missed as well. But I mean, Facebook here, guys. I mean, look, I've been talking about Facebook for a very, very, very long time. It was actually the very last FANG name that I actually bought. So to me, it was an obvious one. We talked about small businesses. We talked about Instagram and what they're doing with the shops and Facebook shops and everything like that. And I mean, it's absolutely no surprise whatsoever for today. I mean, the 8% is, I would have not thought 331. But again, in these clumped up zones, man, that's where we're buying. We're buying hand over fist. So a big trade here for Facebook. We're super excited. Post-it note is up, sticky note's up, but it's not too many names on there today. I'm really just going to be trading some of the action. Apple's a monster. Apple should be higher than this too. So Apple probably the best quarter out of all of them. But right now it's too heavily owned to be up that 8%, like that would be rocking the market. So let's just wait to see, but we are above this. We've already talked about buying Apple once you got above this 126, 127. Now you're at 137, and I'm telling you, next off for Apple is 150. So congratulations, buckle up. If you're not long now, just get long.
Good plan. Yeah, record revenue for Apple in the quarter, so really nice report. We'll have a look a little bit more in depth here coming up. Before we do, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss V.
Hey guys, I hope this day will bring you lots of profitable trading opportunities. Please enjoy the show, and you already know, smash thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, let's jump right into things. I want to talk a little bit about some of the names that are not on the watch list this morning. There's so many companies that reported this morning, a few obviously not going to be on the actual watch list. One of those, Merck. Another one, Caterpillar. Guys, we had a decent move in Caterpillar this morning to the upside. Is this the type of stock that, you know, when there's so much else to look at, it is very, very positive, a decent report for Caterpillar. I mean, the whole infrastructure angle is there too. What do we do with CAT today?
I hate to say it. It pains me to say this one, but when tech is booming, when the NASDAQ is leading the way, and when you also have less concerns, at least with the yields as they are, and you get the formation that Caterpillar put on, they had solid numbers, but you know they're also anticipating some slowdowns based on the chip shortage there, and that was a little bit in the report as well. So. I don't see how it wouldn't make any sense with the lack of breakout here to be taking and trimming some Caterpillar off at the top, looking for a entry price that can come back down. I think the last time, and I would defer this to what Mark said, and I think the last time Mark Roberts was on, he said buying back in the 215, 220 range, I believe would make a little bit of sense to me. So yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just what you have to do. It feels like some of that growth, at least in the big names in tech, if you're not fully allocated there, trimming some Caterpillar on this report, which didn't quite exactly get the bump or the breakout that you would have wanted, makes some sense to me. And then you throw it in some of the names that I think will have a little bit more growth. I mean, whether you're going to pick on like an Amazon here, or I think it makes a little more sense. I'm with you, Sean. I think it's got to be Apple in particular, just because they lagged. Otherwise, I might have said get something into Amazon at this point, but. Either way, it's tough to get behind Caterpillar and thinking there's going to be a big time breakout. I'd expect it to maybe consolidate a little further before a bit of a dip, which I'd endorse a dip by. Solid company, of course.
Yeah, Merck. I mean, Merck is another one that you could buy. You brought that up, Brendan. Here, down 2% today. You know, a dividend payer, so there's no problem with these companies here. The thing about Caterpillar, as Neil just talked about it, all these stocks are very, very top heavy right now. I'm about to dump some more money into what we call our RRSP, or for you guys 401k. I'm sure there's lots of products based on your country, and I'm debating where to get my money, and I'm pretty underweight healthcare right now. So, you know, I have AbbVie, which I absolutely love, ABBV. If you guys aren't invested in anything, grab AbbVie. That was a screaming buy at $60, $70. That's fantastic. But anyways, Merck on a drop down here, 74, 75. You do have some areas of support back down here. We'll read the report a little more closely, but that, you know, this is another name that you could get your money into. But the thing is like when I look at charts like this, it's like really, you know, like all I'm really doing is collecting a dividend here. Like Merck is at the same level, so it's at $76. We can go back to where it was in April of, I mean, this is only because my chart doesn't go back any further than this. Oh, it does, but I don't want to do it. You know, we're at this, okay, let's do it. We're at the same levels, Brendan, as we were December of 2018. So like your money's just sitting in here collecting a pretty sweet dividend. And unless you're an active trader, some of these names just don't make sense to put your money into. But when you do get dips, you know, there is some value. Merck, we saw Eli Lilly as well the other day, you know, come with their report. We already know about the Pfizer story, so I think that's a good buy right now. You know, even though it's made a little bit of a run up, Here's Eli Lilly, drops down off that report. So this looks sort of like Caterpillar, where you have the top and then the drop. Caterpillar didn't drop, it's still up here. But again, you're forming a nice little base. If you can get Eli Lilly in this range, 170, then I like that as well. So there's lots of names, but if you're going to be conservative, this is going to sound crazy, but I mean, I would rather just put my money in something like a Boeing or a GE, or we're going to get to something that I think should not even be down today, and that is Ford. I think there's a lot of opportunity in a lot of those names. Sorry?
No, it's just a chip shortage again, over and over again. You're going to get beat up for that. And if you have a really short-term outlook, that's one thing. But if you have a long-term, that's a buying opportunity for most of the names affected by it. But and it's probably the same thing is true of Caterpillar. Like, I'm not saying Caterpillar is bad in the long term. Of course, that'll be fine. 5 years from now. I just in the short term, some of these can be like sells and then give you a chance to buy back a little bit lower. That's all.
It was a full year 50% production decline expected for Ford. So it's chip related again. Just wanted to touch on this headline as well, if we can, guys. Just jump in. Here we go. This just came out here, 8:38, guys. Merck not extending a clinical trial for an experimental COVID-19 drug that they were looking at to do in India. So it will not do that. The only thing that kind of jumped off the page for me when I was looking at that Merck report this morning was the lack of demand for their clinic-administered drugs, their traditional clinic-administered drugs because of the pandemic. Nobody was going to the doctor outside of because of COVID-19. So otherwise, though, it seemed like a decent report. Let's bring in Luis Barbado here from Barcelona, Spain. We're going to have a discussion with him about what he's looking at this morning. Good to see you, Luis. It's been a couple of weeks. Hope everything is well over in Spain. You and all your family, close members are doing well?
Yeah, everything is fine here. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you very much for asking.
Yeah, it's good to see some areas of the world slowly but surely trying to get back to something that resembles normalcy. Let's talk about the markets here a little bit. When last we spoke, we were discussing the shift that we kind of had in the market as a whole, as attention was being paid more to kind of the big cap, more not growth-oriented stocks, but traditional names, and that kind of got things away from those small caps that were doing all sorts of volume. We now come into earnings season. Tell us how you approach earnings season.
Yeah, that is true. We have seen a shift from the small cap and volume and volatility to a little bit slower movements. It is not so easy the last 3-4 weeks for small cap traders. Volume has moved, well, all because, as you say, we're coming back to normal a little bit. Also because Biden policies, are impacting how much volume are going into the small caps. Also, crypto world is, is a boom. Everybody is putting the money in the crypto world. So yeah, for the last 3-4 weeks, small caps are being a little bit more slow. And right now we have earnings season as well. Most of the traders focus these days on the earnings. So we might have only 1 or 2 nice small cap tickers per day. So we have to really take profit of these 1 or 2 symbols, and of course trade active the earnings if they have volume and volatility and are a little bit out of expectations. So that's how we approach. Yesterday we trade AMD very active. It was very nice stock, for example.
Yeah, lots of volume, lots of activity, definitely, in some of these earnings reports. So the difference that I was kind of leaning towards is, you have to be able to shift focus and move to where, the attention is. We talk every day here about, we have to trade the right symbols and the symbols that are moving and doing the volume. So give us a wrap up, I guess, over the past couple of days, what you've been looking at.
Yeah, you say stock picking is one of the keys of day trading success. Once you have a strategy, a winning strategy, as we all believe we have, for example, here on our trading floor, you have the winning strategy is about where do you apply it. So it's easy. You have to find between the thousands of tickers, which one match with your strategy. So that's a key point in day trading. Of course, we are checking today, of course, Facebook and Apple on earnings. It is not that we like blue chips, as you know, but we are looking into these two. Apple has a 139 level. There's important resistance there, and Facebook is all-time high. So we're gonna check these two. We're gonna check BTX as well on Amex. Yesterday was a parabolic move, unbelievable parabolic move. $55, something like that, from $10. So we're gonna check today is consolidating over $40. So let's see if we have another running day or it has lower volume and we can look for some bleeding to the 30-25 area. Again, GRTX, that's another stock, very interesting. It's fighting $10 resistance today. It's moving up, I think, right now, 47% up. GRTX with 22 million float and already traded 5 million shares. So it's very interesting, that one. And UXIN, UXIN, yesterday jumped, it broke 210, which it was a very important level, went to $3. And today consolidating over $3. So that's the main ticker we're looking at today.
Yeah, we have to focus on what is doing volume. That GRTX, definitely an interesting one. There's positive data behind that move this morning, but testing some levels it hasn't seen in quite some time. When it comes to, just give us a bit of a description as to how you approach, trading the Apples, trading the Facebooks of the world compared to some of these smaller, higher volume, higher liquidity names that we see, the kind of $5 to $10 names versus $130 that we're talking about in an Apple or a Facebook.
Well, it's not only about the price that is important, of course. It's about that, in my opinion, that those stocks, the tape reading is not so important. It is not an edge as it can be in a small cap. In a stock of $5, $2, $10, it is very important the tape reading. You know what kind of players are there. Probably there is not so much banks, funds, high frequency trading in this kind of stocks, but there are on the blue chips. Okay, so it is very important to know that you are playing against another kind of players who are not only day traders or momentum traders or swing traders, but can be long term, can be institutional and everything. So tape reading is not so important. You have to be more analytic, a little bit more technical analysis, not so intense and scalping fast, but analyze a little bit more what are the levels that are important and looking for a little bit more longer trades that we usually look for in small caps.
Luis Barredo, Day Trade the World owner and operator, floor owner and operator over in Barcelona, Spain. Best of luck today. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Brennan. See you, Son and Neil.
There we go, guys. A little bit of a different perspective there. I think it's a good topic to discuss with Luis today. A trader that typically looks at those lower priced, higher volume type names. It's very important as short-term traders to be able to make that shift successfully and look at what is in fact doing volume and moving around. Speaking of moving around, let's jump into what is moving around this morning. If you haven't done so already, make sure you sign up for our free watch list. We send it out every morning, guys, before we come on at 8:30. Valeria will help you out in the chat with the link if you still need it. Let's talk about Apple here. Big report for Apple, guys. As we said, record revenue in the quarter. Everyone staying at home, requiring more iMacs, computers, iPhones, all the good stuff that Apple creates.
Yeah, of course. And look, don't discount the services as well for Apple. Now, as I know Sean already mentioned, you're only up about 2.5%. And in a lot of ways, it was the most important, most impressive report. You have to consider the fact that, Apple, while they do have a lot of clout when it comes to their purchasing power with the chip shortage, they're still affected by as well, and so that you could see a drag on their numbers. I don't know how much that's playing into this, or the fact that they were already, I hate to say it, like maybe lagging a little bit relative to the other FANG names going into the report. Anyway, I kind of look at it, it just sort of says I would just raise like your buying targets on any weakness where you might have been looking for anywhere in those like 120s would have been pretty good. I think you can just pick it up right in the 130s. Here, if you're not fully allocated to it, I don't see any reason why you'd trim anything on this report. I know my only difference I think that I would say with I know Luis was looking at this like Apple for a bit of a day trade. I would sort of caution that there's probably going to be a few more outsized movers, I would say. So it kind of feels more to me like this is a decent place to add to Apple in your portfolio, more so than a day trade. All that being said, if it so much as sniffs that previous top, that 135.50, we're at a $1.50 away from it. I think that's worth a little bit of a defend here. I mean, you know, you'd probably have a shot where the ES would be, if it did pull back, you might be looking at like a 4,200 area on the ES, and Apple's right there as well on a decent price level that we would like to buy in front of, and maybe the NASDAQ could be at 14,000. The issue with those is sometimes you can just jump in, like trade the Qs or whatnot. I mean, if you're comfortable with Apple, go with that. That's probably the only day trade I see for Apple coming back into that support. You know, usually I like breakouts and dip buys a little more aggressively in some of the more volatile names. You're going to be trading some CCL as that group is going to be up, and I just prefer that for a day trade. But yeah, I think you just sort of step up the prices you're willing to buy on Apple, and like kiss the teens goodbye, kiss the low 20s goodbye, and start thinking about having to purchase here in the 135s. If it breaks that 135.50 level, I'd probably go hunting for a bigger move down, but I just don't see that happening today.
Guys, yeah. So I mean, Neil and I'll just be a little more aggressive. Like, don't even wait for 135. Like, just buy now. The difference between Apple and all these other stocks, it's not going to matter. Like in 6 months, it's not going to matter whether or not you have long 137 or 135, right? I mean, I think you guys, if you're, I'm dropping more money into Apple today. It doesn't even matter to me what the price is. I mean, if you are swing trading it, then 100%, you want to get the right prices. But I mean, for right now, we talked about Apple down here. I said buying it on every single dip. Yesterday my 19-year-old was like, oh, geez, thank God that, I taught him sort of that lesson to buy basically just Apple and Microsoft and every big cap tech stock on dips. It's been working out. I mean, this is the thing, even if we have another March 2020 where the market just keeps on falling, let's just hope we have enough cash that we're able to buy more stock. I mean, it's just like, it's a gift, right? It's a gift to be able to have cash on hand to buy great companies like Apple. And it's like, we could buy MindMed. Like, I'm just short eBay. I'm long Apple right now. You can trade. There's a lot more profit in trading bigger names. We saw BTX yesterday. We've seen MindMed go on these rips. But the thing is like, you need to take some of your profit from these crazier stocks and just move it in. Just move it in. Like, move in 10% of your cash into Apple today. Just do it. Just do it right now, and you won't regret. I mean, look, they're increasing their dividend. I mean, a lot of people don't even realize that Apple pays said dividend, right? So 7% increase. They're adding $90 billion to their share buyback program. They're selling iPhone 12, the largest iPhone in history. They own the top two selling phones, period, in China. Okay? So, I mean, we're just getting started with Apple. That's a crazy statement to make. But trust me when I tell you, like, this is going to get ramped up. It's going to get ramped up huge. The watch, the iPads, the Mac now going crazy. Verizon now announcing some stuff with Apple as well. And a lot of this is fueled by the carriers. So, look, I mean, I'm not like an Apple fanboy. I have a Pixel. I mean, it's not, I love Apple. I think their products are absolutely outstanding. Brendan can attest to that as well. On the product side, my wife can attest to that. My kids have iPads. But the point is that as a company, I don't think there's a better one that you can sit your money in, park it in there, and let it ride. So for me, I mean, Apple just needs to be bought on every single dip. And then when you get a report like this, in my opinion, like, it only being up 2.75% is a gift. So, like, whether or not you want to wait for lower or not is fine. But this thing should be up 4, 5, 6% today, and it probably will be by the end. So, and if it's not, then check back next week, and this thing's going to be at 145 anyways. So that's my call there on Apple. Like it or leave it. But yeah, let's go Pixel family, as I see some people there in the chat. I love Google for many, many reasons. Google is my largest holding, but Apple's not far behind.
All right, guys, let's jump into upgrades and downgrades for this morning. There's a lot of them. Basically, anything that reported, there's going to be analyst moves attached to it. Here's a few that kind of stood out today. We talked about this one yesterday. Shopify as well. Spotify and Shopify reporting yesterday, obviously. So both catching an upgrade today. Roku as well up in the pre-market here. Wedbush liking Roku. Discovery. Also saw Comcast out this morning. There was a number of analyst moves on Comcast. eBay, we're going to get to eBay here. Might be the only one in trouble so far, guys.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I already have. I just shorted eBay, to be honest with you guys, and we talked a little bit about it here, but just going to show you. It broke that little bottom, 57, consolidation off that level. So I took a few more shares here to the south side. Just to remind everybody, I mean, this 57 was the pre-market low, but you go back to that March 25th flush out day bottom, and you basically have this little 57 area pop up again. So, you know, you're on a major sort of support area on eBay coming off a bad report. Not going to be short sale restricted yet, but if it gets there, I will not be too surprised about that. So you saw the upgrades on both Shop and Spotify, which I'm kind of hoping Spot has made a little bit of a bottom. Yesterday, I tried, unfortunately, not the greatest price in the world, to try to get a bottom on Spot. That ended up being easily wrong in the morning. I tried it off these levels here, and it couldn't even catch a bid. I'm really hoping that now that you get this flush out into the close, and you get a rebound right back into that 260 level, like if it can catch that 260 bid, this could be one of those, okay, you've been given a little bit of a value at the bottom end of the range here, and if you believe in the company, pick this one up. So, you know, I'm hoping we can catch a bit of a bid here. I think waiting a couple of days after a week earnings report, they just got an upgrade, of course, but it's not a bad idea here. I don't think you can run out of time to get this name. So I'm looking at it today and looking for a spot to maybe get into Spotify after things possibly calm down. If it can hold 260, that's a great sign.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my Apple here. We're already 40 cents in the money. I'm going to get it out at around 137.65 or so. As according to the sticky note, we want to go hard at 137.75. I just don't know if that's going to happen in the market or not. So we're going to wait to see if that comes through. I don't want to punch too many shares pre-market, even though we're at 2.5 million. So that's actually pretty good. So we'll take this out if we can get it here for a quick 60-cent win on Apple, and then we'll wait to see what happens if it does take out that 137.75. But yeah, Spotify, great company, great name, but on a downward spiral right now.
To Facebook, the other one we mentioned right off the bat here, 8% to the upside for Facebook. Nice look in the pre-market after the move we saw following the report yesterday. Came down to a 30% increase in the average price per ad purchased on Facebook and a 12% bump in the amount of ads shown on Facebook. So a lot of people spending a lot of time on Facebook, I guess, guys.
What else is new? Just saw Ford drop off of it was doing nothing and at $12, and Ford just dropped like 10 cents or so. It might get ticked into Ford at some point if it falls any further into 11.75. We'll check back in on that one. Facebook, I'd feel. One of the things I always like to see when it comes to an earnings report or like an absolute blowout when you get the big gap up is holding a high above this gap price, which is just a huge sign, right? So you're going to be above this 328. You can get into how great they've done. It was a great report, but I sort of say to myself, okay, as a day trade, I definitely like just simply defending in front of a level like that, because you have the pre-market low, which it's tested a couple times. You have this post-market 328 level that you can go with, and then it also gives you a bit of a breakout look if you like it. So that 333 break, you can risk about $5 on that one. If you think we're going to 343, 350, I would much prefer buying in the 29.30 range off the open, and then see if you can't hold that 328. So that's the route That's the route I'm going to take on Facebook in particular. And certainly you can trade any of these names. I would say that I would be unlikely to trade both Facebook and Apple at the same time. I'd usually be picking one of them in that particular space. I mean, if you're going to have that kind of a position as a day trader, a lot of times I'll pick one or the other. Or if you want to be in multiple, you can always trade an index or something like that. But I like this 328 for defense, especially off of the open.
Yeah, we're punching Facebook in the face today as well and celebrating it because, it's a smiling kind of stock today. Because it's just, I can't believe how much we're up 8%. But the main number that I look at all the time for these kind of companies, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, the social media companies, of course, is the average revenue per user, and they blew it out. I put that even on the note there, 927 versus 840. So it's a monster number. Whether or not you like Facebook or not, whether or not you use it or not, people say, oh, I don't like Facebook, but I love Instagram. Okay, so the point is that it just continued to ripping up. So 8%, not a problem here. I don't know if I would be adding, unlike Apple, where I'm buying more shares today. It's just a matter of Facebook, letting the winners ride. And we were so fortunate to be able to, and hopefully you guys were as well, to add to this position here. It was just such a I think it was 271, right when we were breaking out here on this 50-period moving average. It made so much sense. Now you get a nice little move upside. Like Facebook was basically flatlining for the first 3 months of the year. So I feel bad, people that maybe missed that one, but you just got to believe in some of these companies, and I know it's tough to do that when you've seen moves, like this, like 140 bottom in March, just rocking to 310. So we've already been up here before, right? We've already been up here. Now we're in no man's land up to the upside. 310 break, you can get a hold. I wrote down that if we can get it back to 326 on Facebook, that might be something to look at here on a 20-period chart. Right in here, just you have a little bit of stop and go in the aftermarket there. So 326 is something. I have my bids right now, 329, 328, just in case we do fall a little bit off the open, which could happen. I mean, the NASDAQ up 1.7% is here, or sorry, 1.17% is monstrous as well. So, you could see some profit taking, but I'm super impressed with this Facebook high, 332.75. That probably gets taken out as well at some point today. So just Facebook's on the watch for any dips. We'll buy into weakness, but right now I believe it's probably a little overextended. So let's watch Facebook off the open. I would like to get it back into 330s. Low 330 would be great, but I'd prefer 329.
All right, let's have a look at those markets. Speaking of, we are, as long as, the ES and the NASDAQ at least, coming into record high territory once again. We had a decent move in the overnight session. We'll bring in Arun here, guys, and check in with him on the futures. That move we saw overnight, Arun, gets us above 4,200. Record high territory here for the open. What do we look at today?
Yeah, it's when we're going to try to break out of a range, you're going to need the big dogs to step in and get us out of the range. Facebook and Apple did that yesterday, and Amazon's on deck today to see what they can do. So now here we are above 4,200, above the range. From here on out, anything above us is obviously new territory. So the only thing I can see in terms of levels is to the downside. So if we can get back under 4,200 and find I don't even want to say find a base, but any sort of supporting action, I would want to trade that range breakout, because I am starting to see a little bit of sell side activity, just a little bit, just above these 4205 area. So I'm not sure I want to go ahead and step into a long just now, right now. But 4180 is the stop that I'm looking at. So anything above 4200, as close as I can get to 4200 with some sort of a support action, some sort of support buying move. We just got across just now 4207 down to 4205. Someone just crossed down right now. So there's a lot of sell side activity, and I'm seeing more and more of this above 4200 or 4205. So that's why I want to wait just below 4200 to see how much buying I can get down there. It doesn't have to be a lot, but I do want to see a little bit below 4,200 just to find some sort of a bid so I can go long. I would like to be long. 4180 is a stop I would like to see. And if we go to the upside, let's just say we continue on going. If we continue, I think at that point you have no choice but to let this market go into discovery, which is let it declare its own levels, let it trade, let it declare. And once it finds a level that you can work with, or once it marks off a level you can work with, then you have a trade. But to the downside, we know what exists. To the upside, we don't. So we'll just wait on that. And keep in mind, Amazon's on deck today, so we can have another. So here's what we can expect with Amazon. Obviously, two different scenarios here. Extension of this range breakout. It can really push us into the mid 4200s, or complete rejection. We break out 4200, and then Amazon comes in, pushes us back under. So it's a false breakout. So that if that happens, if that false breakout happens, I'm very curious to see what happens on the last day of the month, tomorrow. That trading action should be really exciting if that happens. Of course, if we continue on up, then it's going to be the same thing that we've been kind of doing for the last little bit since we hit that bottom a few days ago around that 4120 area. So for now, any bids below 4200, I'm looking for a long. For now, though, I am going to be waiting. At the moment, I'm going to wait, but I am looking for bids below 4200.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning as we head towards the open here, guys. We are under 30 minutes to go. Let's continue along with what is moving around in the pre-market. Qualcomm up next. Really good quarter for Qualcomm, posting better than expected top and bottom line numbers. Even their forecast going forward looking pretty positive here for QComm, guys.
actually in the afternoon show, that was the one that we got to watch. Well, the one that we got to see the reaction to live here. You know, there is a level, I mean, to watch on Qualcomm as I kind of pull back to this like 142.50 area. And look, the results were pretty strong. You are going to see them up at that 6%. This little consolidation range is basically, I would call it like the post-market, I guess, move lull. So you call it like a 145 top down to that like 143 level-ish. So call it, I'm going to like the 145 breakout. That's going to be, I think that can be a solid one for us here on that strength. I noticed you just got into Plug Power, Shauna. You might want to drop that story there that just came through because Plug just had a big move.
Yeah, it's just BAE Systems, hydrogen-powered buses. They're going to be talking about that here with Plug Power. So again, you know, let's rock and roll, man. We're short eBay, we're long Apple. We're getting ready to rock and roll. I mean, this is going to be a good one. We'll see where it goes. I'm going to give it back to 29. I mean, I'm here to make cash, so let's wait to see if it gets down to 29 again. That's what we're going to get out. But right now, let's just explode the profits, man. Everything working out. I mean, we're short eBay, you know. Whatever, we're going to wait for that one. Apple, nice move to the high side, and there goes Plug Power right here with a nice move with BAE Systems. So we'll see about them with the buses. And like I said, man, these stocks are left for dead until there's news. So I'm going to take this one. Let's see how high this can fly. You know, we're right at this level. This is 31. So yeah, I expect it to break through 31. It's only up 4%. And again, you know, we don't know, like you don't know much about these deals when they come out, right? So all you sort of do is try to trade the price action, and that's what I'm best at doing. So I mean, you know, it comes down, we take that first level, we don't take the very top, we wait for it to come back in. I like a 30 long, so we take that at 15, then it dips down to VWAP here, we take another print at 79. So I was actually waiting lower and lower and lower. I'm waiting all down here to get some long Plug Power. Let's just see. I mean, if we're wrong, we're wrong. We'll fall on this one and we'll take it out. But for right now, this is a 30-cent winner to go 30 cents on Apple, and then eBay short right now on that break. So let's just watch Plug Power. I think first level to get out. If we can get some 31s, we'll take some spots there, and then we'll see if we can't hold the rest for a runner. I was gonna say runner, but why don't we just say chicken dinner? But we can't hit that until we're out. So let's get one to 31 there. Oh, and then Qualcomm, we were just talking about that one. Of course, a good name here. It's on my list. A 145.50 break would be fantastic. That's sort of the high rate here, 145.50. We had some consolidation. We tipped out at 146, but 146.30, I guess, was the high. Okay, like Qualcomm and Apple, I mean, we're talking about chips, talking about chip shortages, talking about everything. Qualcomm today comes out with a nice little beat. Again, like in Facebook, up near all-time highs. I like all-time highs up here, 165, but I think we could get near all-time highs. We're above the 50-period moving average, and we just got to get near this 150 mark before we come to 170. So I like Qualcomm, but Qualcomm and Apple, they had that. I don't think Qualcomm is in as many products anymore with Apple as Apple's working on their own chips.
Yeah, they got that. Qualcomm did have that move down on that news, and maybe that was a good value to buy. I wish I had that thesis. I want to complete the thought here because I threw 143 out there as a pre-market low, and I like support levels that have a little more than that. If you go back to late February, there was a rundown and a breakdown at that 143 level, so it had some significance in the past as holding a floor. Let's see if it can do that again. So just to complete that thought on Qualcomm, and I'm actually waiting on Plug. Hopefully there'll be a little bit of a dip into like the mid 29s to see if we can get something off of the open. Like you said, sometimes we see those like. You get the initial move, and then off the open, there's a bit of a sell action where you can get in on the volume spike at the open.
All right, just reading through this story, yeah, it sounds like a longer-term project when it comes to Plug here and BAE. I'll continue reading through that, but nice move for Plug there. To get things going, let's jump down to eBay. As we mentioned, the only one kind of struggling here this morning. Not a good quarter for eBay. Revenue, however, was positive for them, 27.3% increase to 3.02 billion. That was versus 2.97 billion expected. So revenue beats, but it's the forecast once again that's a problem.
Yeah, look, if you're going to forecast low, you saw what happened to Pinterest. I mean, like they essentially had a solid report throughout the way, and then you're going to guide lower and or provide a poor forecast, and you're going to get absolutely beaten up. Now, not as badly as Pinterest, so it's probably not looking as weak. But I kind of go back to this, and sort of the reverse play of like what Facebook's chart looked like. You get this 58 level that we dip from, and you try to hold that in the aftermarket on that report, and then the market comes in today, and we're holding below that range. So I sort of immediately say to myself, okay, now I have $1 worth of range that I'm going to like this to the short, and quite frankly, even if I get out of a trade at 58, I'm likely to look for something again if it tests anywhere close to 60. So my look is going to be wanting to be short this name just on a pure momentum play. I already was looking at the daily chart and showing you guys this is also that low from back in late March at 57 even that is tending to break to the downside. And you just don't have a heck of a lot when it comes in terms of obvious support. And you'll get 55 maybe, but then you're starting to talk about the low 50s here. So eBay, it's down that 7.5%. I think the momentum can be to the downside. Obviously, I jumped into the short here, and I'd probably take at least two, if not three whacks at it before I would give up on the short side and think about a long.
Yeah, they got a lot of downgrades today, right? And so in this kind of environment here, you need to beat, and you don't. Neil talked about Pinterest yesterday. They got absolutely spanked. And I just, eBay wasn't really flying high. They've now broke below this 50-period moving average. They weren't priced for perfection or anything like that, thank God, because then they'd probably be even worse than they are right now. I think you can, again, and you guys tell me, I don't know if eBay really does have it. I mean, these numbers are kind of showing it. I don't know if they have the staying power in this environment, but I mean, eBay's an older name, but a big run up here. That was a beautiful move to the high side there, and they've just disappointed in the last 3 or 4 months. But look, it's a good name. I'm short it because of the action that the stock is giving us. I want to take the short back to 58. So if it breaks through 58, then we'll call this a day and get out of here. But look at the NASDAQ. It's not making me sick or anything. We're not into big positions here, but we talked about it up here when it was up 1.2%. That possibly it was some of these names were a little bit overdone, and now we're going to see some pullbacks. I just want this market to open so we can really see where the effects are. We're short eBay right now at 57.20, so it's not a problem. We're 20 cents out. I still think we breach this low one more time, and then we'll see what happens on the low side of this name. So I've already got some bids, 56.50. We'll take small profits if we can get it on eBay, but those are my trades right now: long Apple, short eBay, long plug.
All right, let's go to Ford. The next one reporting again, it's the production problems because of the chip shortage. That was really the only question on the report. They're saying Q2 production could fall as much as half because of the global chip shortage that they're saying may not be resolved, guys, until sometime next year for Ford. Otherwise, though, pretty good report.
Look, I mean, I've been pounding the pavement for Ford for a while. Sure, we're long $7-8. Okay, let's go. But I put more money to work on the upside as well. I think our last buy was somewhere, I'll have to check. I think it was either $11.50 or $12.50, $12.60, something like that. I feel like I didn't buy it in March. I feel like it was down here somewhere. So, and regardless, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to hold this name for a very, very long time. You know what? Look, the best truck out there. People can't get their hands on enough of these vehicles. They're electrifying their whole fleet. So I like Ford. We've seen the numbers there. And again, the chip shortage is what's going to be the problem. I wrote down, guys, 89 versus 21, like adjusted profit, 89 cents versus 21, and we're down 5%. So I think that tells you enough about Ford that we need to know here. It's going to be that chip shortage. They didn't beat this. Well, I mean, I guess they beat perfectly, but it was the guide forward. That's the problem for Ford. So look, I mean, blah, 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 chip shortage, yada, 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 as far as I'm concerned. We already know that story, but yeah, it's going to hit Ford, and it's just going to give us a better opportunity. I've already said today that I'm going to be buying more Apple, and I want to add Ford into that pile as well, because I think this is a screaming buy at these levels, especially if we can get down here. Remember, we had Facebook consolidating lower and then the bounce higher. And then we say today, oh man, I can't believe we missed Facebook. Well, you didn't miss Facebook. There's opportunities always to buy stock. And here you have it right now, I think in Ford, down to 1150, 1160 is fantastic. I'm a buyer right now, so let's just wait to see where it goes. Quick check on the imbalance locator. here, it's a sell. So that's going to be affecting the stock right now. The biggest name we've talked about on here so far, pin's a buy. CCL is coming up soon.
Nokia.
And there's Ford. Yeah, I mean, Nokia is a $4 name. I don't know if this is going to, but right now, Ford on watch. I think you can pick some up now. But look, I thought Ford, there's been days where I thought it would run and it'd go down, same as GE. So again, industrial versus growth, value, so on and so forth. That name just continues to get thrown around. I like Ford here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take a starter position right now.
All right, let's, speaking of Nokia, let's talk about Nokia. Big report for Nokia benefiting both in the US and China from 5G sales, equipment sales. It was a huge uptick in both revenue and the per share number for NOK. We were talking about this going back to the GameStop and the AMC days that were running. Just reading a couple of things here. But yeah, Nokia, guys, with a decent report.
Yeah, no, baby, I'm not going to be able to do it. And that just comes to you see a gap up on Nokia. And I know it's a good report and it probably surprised some people. And the last few times that you've seen any kind of move up, there's just, and there's no other way to say it, there are a lot of people that are holding bags that are above that $5 mark that I really, really feel are going to be taking any chance to take some profit or get out flat, or maybe that's been consolidating. Maybe they have a good price, but it's just, you look at this 15% up and it's giving some opportunity for some people to get out. Now, Nokia is just obscenely liquid. Sorry, I meant to go to level 2. I mean obscenely liquid. So when we saw that sub 900,000 imbalance, it couldn't be any less significant because it's done 15 million shares. You can see all the liquidity that you're gonna be able to access here on a $5 name. I do look at, and again, $5 psychological level. It already had a bit of a fail at that price here in the pre-market. So I think it's more of a chance at a rollover possibility, especially maybe if it spikes in, maybe some buying off the open that fails on either a break or even to get to $5. I think that's going to be worth a bit of a short. You always have to watch out if you're shorting this, simply because there is a lot of meme momentum that does come into the play, but I can't really get what's going long in it today. That's just me. I know sometimes momentum-wise it'll be a breakout. And if I see a significant enough level at 5 even, I'm willing to sort of flip the script and just take a momentum breakout long, just get evens or ones on liquidity and just scalp that out for 5, 10 quick pennies, which can work sometimes on a Nokia. That I'd be willing to do, but probably not actually holding it.
I didn't even really look at Nokia today. I'm just enamored with the positions that I have right now. But yeah, I mean, I like Nokia. Looking at Ford here, bids starting to stack up a bit. We're long at 90. I am putting out for 10% out at 94 there if we can get that print. So right now, but yeah, Nokia. Trade it as you will. I'm going to wait to see what that imbalance does, flush it out a little bit. But yeah, again, like Neil mentioned there, Nokia got caught up in a lot of that meme stock stuff back in January, February. So a good report for them. I think shareholders will be happy. I'm just waiting for this 94 print, and then we'll ring the register on a 4-cent win for 10%. And then I still have aspirations of higher. We're going to punch longer through 12. There it is. We got the 94s there. So let's wait to see where Ford goes from here, guys.
All right, let's go to some of the travel names popping back up this morning. Positive report coming out of the CDC for cruise operators, saying that the CDC now saying that they want resumption of operations for cruise operators by mid-summer, they're saying, guys. So all of these up, but they have come off a little bit here in the last little while.
Have they though? Well, CCL. I'm looking at CCL because when I came in, I had a 28.75. I'm just going to go to. Let's just go to the daily chart because you can see that 30 level has been a bit of a problem for Carnival Cruise Lines here. I like this one as the vehicle to make that day trade in. So when I saw it, I sort of said, okay, well, do we have an actionable long trade in here today? At least until that 30 level. I was immediately thinking about what I saw in the pre-market here around that 29.65. So I knew I wanted to kind of defend that particular price. And there was a bit of a breakout that sort of came through like a pre-market high, dipped back down to that 28.65, I should say, level. And at that point, I missed this little break here at 28.85 and said, okay, well, if it just dips back in to those 70s and 80s in front of that 65, I'll just start scalping it. That's what we did. Able to take some at 94s, 99, right back in here. Not really, I don't care about VWAP, it's more about that breakout price. So getting 80s every single time, 81s, 82s, which I currently have. It just tested the high again at 29.11. So with a little bit of time to go into the open, I'm not likely to dig too deep into averaging back into this one at that particular price. I tend to think that with CCL, when it dip buys at 930, you can probably get a better price instead of just getting those 80s, and I'll look back into like the 50 to like 60 range before I add some more shares here. Thankfully, if you've scalped some off in front of that high of day, you've taken some profit that you can work with, and it's sort of setting up for a double top breakout here. But 29.15. I don't know if I like the breakouts in CCL recently. I know the dip buys have been better. That's why I'm going to sit back, allow myself to get maybe one more fill if it's in the next couple of minutes here off that 80, and the rest I'll try to pick some up at 55 to 60. Already a solid trade here, but I think CCL might have a little bit more room to go. 30 is, of course, I think going to be a big problem again when it gets there.
We have, CCL, those levels are good. Shout out to Daryl Flinch as well. If you're watching, we'll be talking to you today on CCL probably. 91, this is Royal Caribbean. So again, this is up 3.5%. Very, very similar to RCL. CCL. People like CCL a bit more because of the fact that it does have that lower cost, right? And so it just allows price share cost. So it allows people to trade a little more aggressively here. But you do have a little bit of barcoding here. This is why I want to show this stock. Similar to CCL in the pre-market, but a little more defined here, just up and down. So I think you get a cleaner break here of 91.20 if you really do like the space. RCL here, 91.20 break. Spread is okay. We did actually take a nice average in here on eBay again. We pounded the 50s twice there, so we got it. It didn't go. We got it again. We're waiting for higher. So right now, our average price on eBay 26. So let's see if it can retrace back to the downside. We have some nice opportunities here. Everything nicely in the money now. Apple, whatever. Apple's 15 cents in. Ford now 6 cents in the money, and then Plug just, I don't know, up and down and around, not doing much. We'll wait to see if Plug can take out the top here. But that is also 9 cents in the money. So far so good. We're going to go 4 for 4 pending on that eBay. And we can't, you don't say, you're in the money now. We've seen, like yesterday, Microsoft. Remember we got long 256 and then we got out at 257.15 or something. And then it crashed down to 254 and then we had to wait and then crushed it again, but had to wait for that dip buy. So we're gonna have to wait today. I don't know. Today I'm a little nervous about today just because of some of the price action here on the NASDAQ already starting up 1%. Nervous is a good thing. It's like I'm nervous to see what kind of action is going to come forward with us today. I'm really excited about Ford. I'm excited about Plug as well. So let's get this party started, Brendo.
All right, let's talk about Twitter here. One set to report aftermarket tonight, up in the pre-market this morning, heading towards earnings, coming off that Facebook report, so benefiting from that report. But numbers or expectations, I guess, for Twitter, pretty big going towards the earnings tonight. Is this a little bit dangerous as well? I mean, we're talking about things being up a little bit too much ahead of an earnings report for Twitter?
Yeah, I'm not going to. When you get a sympathy push to the upside, I mean, if any of these, like if we breach back like that 14,000, you hit some of those metrics to the downside, or like if a Facebook breaches its low, Twitter, which is up on sympathy, I think is probably not going to have necessarily a strong report. It's just my sort of 2 cents there. So I maybe stay a little bit away from Twitter. And apologies to do this, but I wanted to quickly jump over to Overstock just because I happen to already see it move here. It was only up a few percentage points when I saw it, but Overstock just popped now 16%. So very, very strong move here. They reported this morning as well. It is what it is. Of course, they had that tie into blockchain, so I know there's a lot of hype that's coming around this name as well, not just the retail aspect of the business that has people's interest. The previous pre-market high was around that 80 level. It just had a couple of dips into that price. I think if it can hold this one off the open, Overstock might have some more room to run. It's sort of approaching this 84.25 level. And I don't think it was on our watch list, so I want to make sure it was a big mover here that we're able to get to. It's approaching this 84.25 level. There might be a shot that it has a bit of a pullback off of there, getting you a chance to maybe enter somewhere in that 80 range. But I kind of felt there'd be a chance at this after the open because it doesn't do a ton of volume. That might have come and gone unless it gives me a dip.
Okay, look at Palantir here, guys. I think there's an opportunity to go 24, 25 or so. Apparently, I just saw our friends at MindMed going to be ringing the bell? Haha, we had them first. Okay, 24.20, 24.30 to high side here on Palantir. This has been a nice mover last couple of days. We do wait for pullbacks all the time on Palantir. And look at yesterday, man, you barcoded right here like nuts. We talked about this in the afternoon yesterday, just doing nothing all day yesterday, Palantir. So if we can get this name back to 23.50, 23.75, that's great. But I also did put an order to break that top there. And then you want to talk about MindMed a little bit. I know a lot of you guys are asking me for all these levels on Pinterest and things like that. I can't. I would love to talk about all the stocks you guys are throwing at me, and I'm trying to do that. And it's just there's so many to look at. I like MindMed here today as well, breaking 5. To the upside. Again, another 5%. Nice move. I did not buy more yesterday, although I am debating making that move at some point here to get a little bit more. I thought we could even crash even lower than that. This day chart doesn't look great, but I think if we can get it back down to 450, sort of where we were long yesterday, maybe there's going to be something down there as far as the bid is concerned. But let's just see MindMed go to the high side today. Smash it through. I do have a bid to break through. Where was it? Yeah, 490. So if we can get above 490 here on MindMed, you're going to see me smash that long as well. So a couple names there that aren't on the list, but Palantir and MindMed, always movers.
There's a decent level, if we have time, guys. Maybe we can look at Merck, MRK. I saw a couple of people talking about it. 76 on Merck. It's trying to get back to the upside. I'll show you this one. GRTX, yeah. 50% almost to the upside so far this morning. You heard Lewis, if you joined us early enough, talking about this one. Above 10, so we're just coming back up to $10 even on this, above 10 to 10.50. You start getting into significant congestion here going back a couple of months ago. So there's big time resistance just above where it's trading right now. It's having trouble with 980, but watch 1025 up to 1050 as well if we do start to hold above 10 on GRTX. Guys.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that one, Brendan. I have made some trades in this one in the pre-market, a couple of shorts. It didn't go when I thought it was sort of consolidating at that 970. I then took a breakdown at 30s, was able to get some out for a quick winner there, and then I got back into a short that we took a hit on, so close to flat on the name respectively. I think $10, like you said, if it gives a break through that price and cannot get through that quarter to 50 mark, that could be worth a bit of a reversal, but it is setting up rather strong for now. If it does another break down through like 950 at the open, I think that's worth a short trade. But I'm sort of looking to get into it. If I get into it at or before the open, it's going to be on the 950 break. Otherwise, I'd like to see a test of that $10 area, in particular on that GRTX.
Yeah. We definitely like. There's a bunch of names, and thank you to Lewis for bringing some of those to our attention, and Neil, obviously trading it as well. We had a big move overnight on Cardano, 130 up to 141. A big move there. We'll talk about Ether and Bitcoin. It's pulling back down just a little bit to 136, 137. But regardless, man, this has been just a monster for me here, and it doesn't matter. You guys, I think it's top heavy. Obviously, look at the chart, but what a big move for ADA recently, and so we're celebrating that a little bit today as well. I still haven't sold anything, so we sold some last time it was up here at 140, and I don't want to do that again. This crypto is just, it could just go, obviously, we already know what it can do. So let's hold on to some of those crypto plays. AMD was another name I wanted to talk about here, going backwards to $84 now. Yesterday was such a disappointment. We came in here with big expectations. It was up 4 or 5%, touched 90 in the or claimed close enough, touching 90 in the pre-market. Maybe it even did. To finish the day at 84 and down like, I think 0.5% or something like that, was really crazy. Their number was fantastic. So I talked about it yesterday to hold this name for a swing trade. We talked about that yesterday as we closed. People always asking us, that would have worked out okay today for that 1%. I still think it goes higher, but I do want to see if that weakness is for real, and we'll come down to the downside here. So if we can get some 84 and change on AMD, we're going to be liking that one. And here we go, eBay. Here we go. We're back in the money on this name. We've been out of the money basically ever since we took the trade, but we averaged in. We believed in our position, took it so nice. We took it 4 times on that one. And again, remember, in the pre-market, it's not, it's not going to be big money-making opportunities for me. Sure, it's going to win, hopefully, and all of these positions, we're 4 for 4 right now, but the point is that, it's not a lot of shares. I don't want you guys getting caught up in pre-market trades. We're just taking the positions. I more take them to feel out some of the levels, see what's happening, so that I have them in my blotter here. You know, obviously I'll make 200 trades today, so it's very, very important that I see stocks, and I can't watch everything. So I want to get good positions on and see where they work, and then add to those as the market does open. So be very, very careful with everything. MindMed is there it goes. Breaks through. Like, look at the spread here, what I'm talking about here. Like, I just get long, what, 92s there? And the spread is like 12 pennies, which you might not think is that much, but hey, you know, on this kind of a move, it could easily just print downside and then I'm off 10 cents, right? So just be very, very careful. Apple coming back in as well. So here we go, guys. A minute to go. Oh, you know what might have started that, Neil? Let's just go look at this quickly here. There it is. So there's Apple on a sell. So Apple coming back to the downside. We got to watch out for that one. We are long 137. So there's the dip. I have some bids, so hopefully we'll get picked up on those.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was no bid on. I thought the same thing as you. When 928 hits and some NASDAQ imbalances come through, you might think that might be it. Clover, I just wanted to quickly come to this name. I know a lot of people are watching the multi-day run that it's been putting on. And the pre-market again today, pushing through. And look, this 11 break has already happened. I'm sort of kicking myself that this is probably one that I should have been looking at, should have had. It's come and gone. It's topped out to that 1150. Oh, crap. Only a minute to go here, guys. Just want to quickly pull up. I kind of have felt throughout this move that when it got to the 1150, this is where it might have some trouble slowing down. I haven't tried too hard at shorting it, but when you get a bit of a top like this, 1150, and then now look at this hard consolidation off the open, I gotta feel like it's worth a shot here if it tries to get back above that 1150 or to that 1150, short off the open if it fails there. Only 30 seconds to go. Looks like I did not get the dip in CCL. It's right back at flat, I guess, at 82.83. Kind of thought we'd get into like the 65, 70s. I'd be able to buy that dip. Although there is time right at 9:30. I've got the eBay as well and looking for overstock to give me maybe a dip buy in front of 80 so many earnings to get to today, guys, that we couldn't cover them all. We covered a bunch for you, and now it's time to drop that bell. Market is up. Valeria doesn't even need the green today. 3, 2, and 1.
All right, we open. We just got that eBay for, hey, man, another one. Let's just throw this down, man. I mean, a big win there on eBay for us. 25 cents to start. Now let's see it crash through 57, and we'll get some lower bids, man. A nice 30-cent win right now on eBay. MindMed, Plug, and Apple. Let's go. Let's see where these guys can take off to.
Yeah, and Qualcomm tries to make that. Oh, let me zoom in here so you guys see a little bit. Qualcomm tries to make this 145 break. That wick is killing me there. Make that 145 break. It got to like 60s and 70s and then stalled out a little bit. I mean, eBay's going in the money, but Qualcomm just came in here. I think I like it all the way down to 143, but I'm going to hold off on averaging into anything there just for at least the time being. That overstock did give me a bit of a dip buy as well, but as you mentioned, eBay starting to work, and I just got into finally got some CCL here as it got into those 65s. It's back up in the 70s, gets into the mid 80s, which it just did here. I'm going to look to see if I can't scalp some profit off on the way to that double top, that 29.10 area. I think there's some resistance, got to take some profit off. We wanted to dip buy in the 60s, already getting that 20-cent winner instantly on CCL.
Okay, yeah, 20 cents. Yeah, I mean, we're celebrating big wins right now. Facebook, guys, 85-cent winner right there. Bang that out. eBay, 60 cents in the money right now. Ford, we got some more. That's Facebook right there. Nice long on Facebook, by the way, guys. We picked up that 329, and we just got out at 330. So a good one there. Plug not doing anything. We're going to wait on Plug. We just took a nice little low bid there. We're waiting, giving it back to 29. Let's see if it works. eBay, 56 cents now in the money. Where are my bids on eBay, guys? We need to get out. So let's just keep managing these positions. eBay, a nice little win here, but we got to take the profits.
Yeah, when you have to take that profit. I want to get back to Facebook got me in at that 329 area. It's trying to hold the bottom, and it looks like it's trying to flush down to that low of the day. The other name here is going to be that, look, eBay's pretty good, but that overstock, I also got into position, and then I got to be able to take some profit off when it gets back into this like 82 range. If you're going to do the dip buy, I always believe in scalping a little bit out here, guys. So overstock has not taken off the top, but I wanted to defend that previous pre-market high through that 82 range, and if it can't seem to get anything up at that 82, I might have to chase it down for $1.50 instead.
Okay, there it is, AMD. We're going to try to get a winner here. Long right now, 21s. We'll wait to see if it wants to break through 84 right now. Let's see if we got AMD on, I mean, you can see where we got the bid here. 19s, out right there, 31s. So let's see if that one wants to continue to run, man. Facebook now starting to go, guys. We just took a 328, starting to go to the downside. We got these bids on board. So we got to manage these positions, but I have so many positions right now. Apple coming in, Ford coming in, eBay, everything, MindMed moving around. Here goes Facebook to the downside. We talked about this maybe being a little bit too high, so we got to find out where to get out. I think it was 326-ish was the level for breaking spots, guys.
Yeah, that GRTX, it did pop through 10. So, Brennan was dead on when he talked about that 10. There was some resistance at 25 to 50. I just got short when it retook that 50 area. Not even fast enough. Again, managing some of these positions here, not fast enough to be able to catch the 10 reversal. If it holds this area, that 950 to 960, I can get more shares in. But I got to think about taking off some in the teens if it gets back down there. I did miss the first run to be able to get shares out. Unfortunately, it just happened very, very fast. But that rejection is a solid one. When it rejects off the top like that, I'm going to like that entry point. I still have that overstock, which... Again, I'm going to give it through the high of the day like we did here, but I want to make sure we scalp some off. I think there's probably going to be a bit of a reversal, not a reversal, but a bit of a dip buy at that previous high. Call it like 82.5 to 83. That one's safely in the money, but I can tell you, Facebook, I'm sort of with you on this one, Sean. It tried to defend. I'm not averaging into this one. It's going to try to defend these post-market levels at that 25 to 27 area. If it doesn't, I'm going to have to dump this one and then just not hang on to the longs too deep here. That's the one that's giving me some concern right now.
Yeah. It only really is Facebook for me as well. But actually, you know what's really dumping here? And we took a shot and we got out. It's not a big hit here. But Ford, wow, this is continuing. They don't like that they're going to have to wait before they make some money here with Ford, as this name just getting crushed back downside. I think this may be worth a pickup here, and to see if we defend that 50 level. I think Ford right now worth a pickup here at 60. So let's do that and watch out here for my enter button working. There it is. Ford 1159 now. We just picked up some. So let's see if it wants to defend that 1150. If it breaks, man, we got to get out. But right now, let's see if Ford wants to run back to the upside. We're long everything and short eBay. So wow, eBay.
It's still
bang on eBay. What up, Valeria? Spin it. Big time winner there on eBay, guys. $1 cash money right there. eBay. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still only. Well, as far as that eBay goes, I still have that last 20% of the position. I think let this one ride at least till 55. Brendo?
One to have a look at here, guys. Norwegian, real quick. We were talking about the cruise operators in the pre-market. Positive story there from the CDC. Broke 32 on a huge volume spike. Coming into significant resistance, though, for Norwegian at this point.
Oh,
and look, we try to go arrows up for you guys. We'll throw them in there. If something is not on the watch list and we think it's going to be a good ride, we're going to let you guys know all about it. That's why Plug came in last minute with some news. I tried to get overstock in there for you guys. I know it yesterday, and I'm getting out of overstock here on this 86 level. I'm going to walk away, take the $6 winner, start to manage some of these long positions. I thought there was going to be a bit of a dip buy opportunity here, but you start to let these winners run a little bit, and I don't want it pulling back in on me. I kind of thought $5 or $6 was going to be it, and then we get a dip. Maybe I'm wrong about it, but the winner is a winner. I missed out on Shop yesterday. Didn't want to miss out on one that I absolutely loved. Facebook, on the other hand, I mean, this is going to be it might be a stinker, but so far it's managed to hold up around this 25, 26 level, or off of that 25, 26 level, which was a level in the post market. If it can do a bit of a consolidation, I think it's going to be worth it on a bit of a dip buy. And then I mentioned Plug.
Oh, yuck.
Load. Oh, I'm going to go away from the 15 minutes so you can see the 1 minute chart here. It did come back in. I said I was going to wait for a dip buy. I was able to get some at 29.62 there. I'm going to take off some as the 70-cent winner. If it does that flush on the news and tries to retake the high, if it fails, I don't want to be caught not having taken any profit. I think at this point you could look for a VWAP bounce instead. So closer to 29.85, I'd look for another re-entry into Plug. There are some longs that are working. It's just not Facebook.
Yeah, Plug a monster, man. We've been hitting that huge right now. We're still waiting for MindMed. We've taken some dumps on Ford. And again, I don't want this to be our AMD. So we're going to get out of this one. We're still long here. We have a big position on. We're just going to give it back to this low here of 47. Unfortunately, it looks like we ticked the bottom low again. So we did have to get back in at 55. So we gave up 7 cents there that we really didn't need to. But that is what that is there. Facebook, though, gets smashed down to the downside. Trying to protect that. We got out, thank God, at 326, right where we said we would. So we got out of that one's way. But let's see if it can get back now. We'll find a spot to pick up Facebook. We talked about that one being a little high this morning, but again, I still tried it. So we do lose on that name. Oh well. My big position right now, we still have $1 in the money, 50 cents in the money on Plug, $1 in the money on eBay, and then the one that's really held up, you know, considering this move, Apple, I mean, we're still at the low here. I shouldn't say it's held up, but it really, you know, it's a $1.50 move down here. So let's wait to see if it can hold this bottom. If it does, then I think this is a great opportunity now with the NASDAQ bumping back to the high side here. Let's see if we can make Apple go for a little bit of a run here. Apple, like Plug as well. And I might pick up some more Facebook if it does find a bottom. What's up, Bren?
Vaxart, guys, we talked about a couple of days ago. Didn't do much yesterday, but they're set to present some data the Vaccine World Congress in Washington coming up next week. So VXRT, big move here again today on volume, up to 1080 now, 27% for Vaxart.
Wowzers, that stock up. One going up and one going down. That's GRTX. Like I was never able to get more shares there. I thought if it came back to 965 or so, I'd definitely get a bit of an average in. Never happened. It continues to break lower. As it gets down towards, I mean, I'm gonna put something in the teens here. Well, just able to instantly get like 915. Just because if it bounces off 9, I think I want to be reloading in that 950 to 965 range. So gonna take some off and get back into it. I'm gonna dip out of Facebook. If it cannot hold, maybe like give it like 30 or 40 cents below that 25 level. If it can't hold it, I'm going to give up the ghost on that one. And probably should have held on to some of that overstock. I did not. Plug Power is giving that little dip into VWAP that I kind of expect. Well, not saying expected, but anticipated could maybe happen here. I like picking some up in that 80s if I could for reload. Not waiting down for 29.60. So I just got back into some Plug Power. So second entry there. Still have the eBay. And I think much like the mistake yesterday, and I'm saying this right now, my mistake yesterday with Pinterest was getting out of the short too early, thinking long when all I wanted to do was short a stock, and then that got me away. Now, eventually shorted it again and made that money back, but it was a huge mistake. Holding on to eBay and looking for another spot to get more shares in is going to be the way to go, I think, today.
Man, that Ford just keeps on going down. Like we saw some weakness and got some out of our 55s. We got some out of 57, but yeah, Ford just right now. I think this can go, man. Like down 8% today. I actually just want to get in and buy some long term here, but down 8% today on Ford. Was definitely not expecting that one. So we've lost, you know, every time we've tried this, man. I'm still holding some, but it's looking nasty here on Ford. I wish I could find a spot to go long now. I mean, the 20 period moving average, I thought we would be down here looking at this 40 level, 35 level, maybe possibly holding, but I mean, it just keeps on crapping. So, you know, I don't know. Right now, Ford just did the downside. Not much to do there. Facebook trying to make a bounce. We're already out of that one. Apple, I'm holding Apple, guys. I don't even have an offer to get out of this one. I think 134, though, that's pretty low. I'm going to double check to make sure where my orders are for this one. But Apple right now getting killed as well. Down 2%, right? It was up about 3%. So you're down that 2% now on Apple. We may have just made a bottom there. I'm going to try one more long on Apple and see if it wants to get going backside. But right now, net pas on any of these tech stocks. We have a nice win on AMD, a nice win on, I mean, eBay, guys, $1.25 in the money. Like, that's a monster trade right there. Plug, nice winner. But yeah, Ford, we've screwed up on Ford and on Facebook today. Let's see if Ford holds those 135s. I don't know, guys.
Yeah, and I just got back into, we reloaded on CCL. I mean, every time there's been a dip, I've sort of given it a little bit more room. There's now a triple top there. We talked about that double top at 29.12. I mean, now 29.14 is the high. So I double dipped on the first time. That was right at 930. This other pre-market level, you get these 50s, 55s. If it does not even get back to VWAP to give me some scalp trades here, I don't know that I want to hold this through the low of the day, or the pre-market low, I should say. So I might have to give up a ghost on CCL. The longer it does this, I mean, if it does give that rally, at some point you get a triple top. It's going to be a breakout through 29.15 for me, almost certainly when I see a setup like this, but it's got to bounce first. I will certainly have scalped some off before that happens. That GRTX, I mean, I'd love to be able to say, like I said, I'd love to be able to say I got into some more shares here, but again, I was waiting for a pop back into 950. And it goes to 940. So the same thing that happened when I was waiting for 65s, and then it came back to maybe to like 45s and 50s. I've once again missed an entry point. GRTX pre-market lows are right down here at 880. Look, if it doesn't give me a sort of a short off of a bounce at 880 back into 25s or 30s, I'd be surprised. So I'm going to go ahead and say we'll take 60 cents if it gives it to me, and then get out in front of that pre-market low on GRTX, and still looking for the bounce that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Which is good, I'm short, but get me back in.
Looking for a bounce on Ford as well. And yeah, I don't know. Okay, so talk about taking a bounce. I mean, yeah, we have to take this out now. All of our longs really aren't working, so let's just watch out now for this name here. Come on, enter key. For AMD, we just took a bunch of trades out here. They all look the same, but there's multiple. There's multiple outs up here, 67, 68. So a nice win for AMD. I mean, I'm surprised. This is the name that's running, right? We saw some sentiment from there yesterday back to the upside, and we'll see if that can go. I'm still trying to massage this forward, but that's not working. And I just $2 in the money as well for eBay.
Sean, I just pull up my daily to go back, and I'm like, so this April 12th low, 11.18, you've got like 11.12 here. I mean, it's starting to get to some levels that just, and again, I remember when Alibaba did this, and I was like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So Ford, are you kidding me? Forget about it. I'm gonna take some long here and not even wait for it to turn. My daily chart's not gonna show you executions because I don't want it to muddle it up. But we just bounced off the quarters, and the daily has a couple of levels there in front of 11 even. So you can count me getting into this one as well. Facebook's trying to bounce, but it can't seem to get past 327. If it breaks that, I'll start taking some off. Brendo?
A little bit of a thin trade here, but another earnings name, guys. Bloomin' Brands up big time today. Just broke 32 there on a volume spike. They reported this morning all-time highs for BLMN today.
Blooming onions there. Okay, so there it is. Facebook now looks like it wants to make a little bit of a run, maybe a 327 long, possibly a nice little spot there on FB. But unfortunately, damn it, missed that bottom. But we did average in, obviously, to to Apple. We got some nice bids there at 67, 68. So our average price now on Apple, much, much nicer here. Better than it was before, but we still waiting on this one. We did take a hit right there on Apple, but we're still holding, man. We're still holding a big position there. Not big, but big enough for me to worry about it. MindMed, unfortunately, MindMed went sleepy time on us. We need to wait. We need to wait for this one to go. Hopefully it starts going. If not, we can dump this, but there is some sell side pressure here. We're just waiting on MindMed. AMD $1 now in the money. This is probably one that we should be taking as well. But yeah, we're going to watch Ford. We're going to watch AMD, and we're going to watch Apple right now. Those are the big ones. MindMed, not really too concerned. Oh yeah, and by the way, spin the money at least on eBay. We talked about this name being down in the dumps today. You can see this is a nice little $2 winner on eBay right now. So really happy with the way this one's paired out. We may just take this out at 55.50, man. $2 in the money for eBay, I'll take that.
Yeah, you got to be happy with that. I think it's one of those things where you want to concern yourself with the things that are not following your plan first as opposed to the ones that are. Qualcomm managed to hold that 143. I mean, again, you look at those post-market levels, it tried to break out. It said you wait for the bottom end of the range. It held it, snapped back. We're able to take some shares right at that 43 level, but it started rejecting off of this 144. So when my price is sitting there in the middle, to not trim the position here, which I kind of wish I had the same approach in Facebook, I'd be sitting a little bit prettier if I had done this. Definitely take some out. Actually, did I get some out on Facebook? Yeah, it looks like I got one filter on Facebook. But take a little bit out here when it gets back to 144. This way, if we can hold this level around that 143 from the post market, there's a good dip buy opportunity for me here. But here's the problem. The market is overall looking weak here, guys. I mean, the NASDAQ approaching that 14,000 mark, and that's going to be a key one. So you start to have at least a little bit of concern with some of these longs. And speaking of Facebook here, again, you could wait for it to get back to 328. I took the liberty of taking some off here in the middle of this range to trim the position because of the weakness that I'm seeing overall. And then Plug as well. So as great as things had started out with Plug Power, whoops, come on, don't do it to me. Please don't tell me you're freezing. There we go. As great as things were starting out on Plug Power, we had the long at 60s. We take the 70-cent win. I get in a bit early at 85s, re-enter it as well at 55. It breaks the breakout price. So you get this pre-market breakout at 29.30. I get out when it retakes that. A lot of times you'll get some barcoding at the bottom through there. If that happens, I don't want to get tripped up. So throw away the profit that we made in Plug by maybe starting it at VWAP too early. If I patiently waited for that long in front of 50s, maybe I'd still be holding on to it. But I can't do that in the falling market. I got to pick my battles to the long side here.
Yeah, talk about picking your battles here. Yeah, Ford right now, a battle that I'm losing every single day, it seems like. Not every day, today. Losing right now on Ford. Oh, is that Ford that I even have up there? There it is right there. Ford, we just got out again at the day's low, so missed another opportunity to buy some more Ford there. Unfortunately, just getting slapped around in that name, but I do want to try to find a spot to get long on F, guys. What's up, Brendo?
Another one looking kind of weak here. Nokia, guys. We mentioned big gap to the upside for Nokia today, coming back into day lows once again. They tried to bounce there to 480 and failed. So we're heading back to the downside for NOK as well.
Yeah, I mean, meanwhile, it's, sitting here and it's like, I don't even have many short trades on. Like, I just got out of GRTX, so that hits its target. So I'm happy about that. But the only short I have on is eBay. And Nokia, there's no excuse. I mean, if I'm going to sit there and say not going to be able to do to the long and talk about short in front of that 5, maybe there's a breakout at 5 for a scalp trade. I got to be short when it consolidates and maybe catch a little something at the 85 mark. Maybe it'll give a bounce and I can get in front of that 5 even again, but that seems to have come and gone. It looks like we are going to be testing some of these levels. I mean, the NASDAQ 14, not even to 4,200 on the ES. Looks like we are going to be testing some of those levels. I can tell you that Facebook is valiantly trying to march back to the upside here. So you patiently wait for some of those post-market levels to hold. At least one has. If it gets back to that 29 area, yeah, I'm going to take some more shares off here and then want to just rest on my laurels in case we get back to that 25. But we're holding right around VWAP. I think there's a pullback coming. That's one of the reasons to get at least some shares out in that range. Another one of those I've been waiting for, CCL. Wait for the little dip at 55. It holds the pre-market low. But while I was looking over at that plug and covering that position, I do miss that little consolidation buy. If it gets up to VWAP, I do have to take some profit off. So yes, CCL is in the money, but only slightly, like 10 cents or so. If it gets to 15s and 20s, I'm taking this out in front of VWAP, at least 2/3 of it, because that triple top is looming at 29.15.
Triple top. Okay, so we just took out some more there on AMD. Unfortunately, I was too distracted there with Ford. Should have taken some out on the high side there, but we miss it. That's okay. eBay still that dollar in the money. MindMed, I'm like cursing it under my breath because I said I wouldn't do that anymore on the show. So yeah, I don't know. I thought this one had a chance. It, doesn't look like it wanted to. It's still up 2.5%. It's fine, but we did get a little bit too excited there off the open and took a 91. This may be. I'm probably going to average in right now to this at 70. But MindMed, like where to drop this off at, I don't even know. So when you're wrong, we're gonna have to figure out where we're wrong here on MindMed right now, coming up soon. So I'm getting more Ford right now as we speak. We've already taken out this low there at 119. That was me making the low of the day. So on serious shares, like I'm not, we're not trying to mess around here. So yeah, it got hit there, but you could see, man, oh man, like this is my, I'm gonna die on the sword today for sure with Ford. Let's just hope this gets back here. If this can get back to 1150, then we'll be monstrous, but it's an if and but, right? So it needs to go. I wouldn't mind getting some out. Again, this is positive talk here. Let's see if Ford can go back upside, but this 1140, we've bounced a couple, this is only a 1 minute chart. We bounced a couple times here at 1140. So I think if we can get anywhere near there, like 37, 38s, even though I'm long right now for 29s, we can make back what we've lost. It's just, I think it's a little foolish not to be, somewhat conservative here. Take out some 37s, take out some 40s, and then try to hold the rest. We have a pretty large position, as you can see on this name right now. But the NASDAQ coming to the downside, so we may just have to get out. Like Apple right now going to crack through 134. So let's just be very, very careful here with some of these names.
There's something about this that feels a little bit like, like one of those positive day flush out type of feels here. And I'm looking at the NASDAQ, like, everyone thinks we're breaking out, everything's looking good, the numbers are fantastic in earnings season, and then you're dipping right into an overnight morning support level, and then maybe bouncing. I don't know. It has a weird feel to it. I'm trying to hold off a little bit before jamming into too many things and trying to do too much bottom picking. And Miss V's got a name for us. Wow, I feel like there's so much to get to. Miss V, what do you got?
Hey Neil, Snapchat is moving to the upside. Stock is up around 3%. Do you guys consider trading Snap today?
If not for the fact that I'm already in half a dozen positions, yeah, that looks Oh, Snap looks pretty appealing there. It has been trying to make, look, it's continued to make a bit of a break. I would look at the fact that there could be some resistance at 65 to temper with caution. There's almost no way. Like I got Qualcomm, still Facebook. I've now started Ford. I got CCL to the long side. I don't know how much I want to dip into without adding Snapchat to those names, but yeah, I mean, I like Snap. When I was looking for it to break out, hopefully to that 65, 66 range. Looks like it's going without me here, Brendo.
Roku, guys, just noticed a lot of charts looking like this right now. Move up initially and then just got smoked right back down. 2.3%. We mentioned Wedbush with an upgrade on Roku today. Rejected, though, up there at 375, guys.
All right. Yeah, I'm just getting my orders locked and loaded here for Apple. Our last buy there. I don't have any more bids on the downside there. Oh, they have a nice little short there on eBay. Yeah, no bids to the downside here for that. We're going to give it, I'll probably take one more bid around here, 134. But then if we zoom it back out, this 133.50 bottom that was made basically right yesterday close, that's a number to look at right there. So we're going to just continue to look at that number then, right there on the downside, 133.40 for that. Someone said it looks like Sean and I are selling Ford shares to each other. Yeah, if you've been long or short this time, and yeah, then I'm buying from you because I keep buying these bottoms, man, and it's not working. So let's wait to see. Like Ford, like look at this market. Not a good day. Neil, you must be killing it, man. These shorts today has been free money.
It's the one day. The only short I have left is eBay. Look, I'm in the Ford party too to the long side. I just got some more Facebook. Is it? If I'm gonna say, okay, get some out when it gets up to that 27, 28 range, so I can get back in at that 25, or at least in front of that 25 area, then that's what we're gonna do. So I just picked some more of that Facebook up. I want to see if we can make a little bit of a bounce. Overall, should I be short? Obviously that's going to end up being true. I found myself only in eBay, which is right at that 55 level. Which, if there's going to be a target to have, that's what I was looking at for a bit of a temp bottom in eBay. And it wasn't just, obviously I put in a bit of a higher low at that price while on the way up to that 65 on the daily chart here. But it's also that nice little round number, and I find myself looking to take it off and then shorting any strength in that eBay position. Brendo?
Starbucks, guys. 2 days ago, we had a disappointing report from Starbucks, but straight to the upside today. 114 here. We're getting back into where we ended going back to that earnings day, but straight higher here for Starbucks.
Yeah, should be buying the best names, not buying names that are struggling today as Ford comes right back to the bottom here. I don't even really have like the 20-minute chart just looks like nasty side. It's like, look at this. And I'm buying this? Are you kidding me right now? But yeah, we should have just forgot about it at this level here, 140. We talked about that was going to be, I have outs here, right? It's just not enough. We talked about that was a key level there. And look at this, just 10% right now on Ford. I never thought this would be happening, so we will be buying some more here. But so far today as a day trade, yeah, we're falling on ourselves. We may have, it looks, right now, we'll have our second negative day of the month happening on the second last day of the month. So it's been a successful one, but not today, as a lot of these longs that we're sort of fishing for are not coming in, guys. The market is failing.
Yeah, we just broke 42.
Remember when the market was like 1.2%, and I said like I was nervously excited about this morning? This is the problem. It was priced in already in the pre-market, got caught up on high names, and just not paying dividend right now. I'm not going to give up on this Ford, but we're still long, obviously at 29. Let's just wait to see where it goes from here, but it's a nasty, nasty trip.
Yeah, here comes Qualcomm again trying to hold this little bottom that it made at that 142. So I'm going to go one last defend on this thing. Again, you have to pick your spots. I liked Qualcomm's numbers, and obviously we talked about this one. We actually we didn't trade it in the afternoon show, but we got to see this one ramp to the upside on very strong earnings. And if we can't hold this latest little dip, it is what it is. I'll walk away from that one. Facebook and Ford a little bit. I'll be a little bit more stubborn with. If Carnival breaks low as well, I'll trim that one. So it's likely to be Facebook and Ford that I will defend. I'm holding on to eBay because I want some kind of short exposure, but I'm also going to be looking at what I should have been doing was I'm going to go to Caterpillar when we come back from Brennan.
Interesting spot here for Clover Health. We've been looking at this one over the past couple of days. Big move up yesterday, if you remember, initially in the morning on strength, but reversal here at 11.75 all the way back to 10.75, guys. Ended up being a bit of a spot yesterday for Clover.
So And then we talked about Caterpillar here a little bit. And I was saying, it's a good name to trim to get into something else. And when a market move like this happens, and I was sort of hunting for something to look for the short side of the trade, I should have been immediately coming to this name, and it would have had a bit of a breakdown trade at that 235. Now, it didn't happen. I have to quickly say to myself, I know the mistake I made. There was a strong-ish name on a good report that I could have been shorting into, and Caterpillar was one. It would have given you like a $5 winner. It's just something that you can add into your toolbox to throw in on a day like today. And I know I missed my spot there. And then, Clover Health. It's just too many names to trade. I did like this if it was going to maybe not hold that top level and then get that retracement through 11. I've missed it for now. I'll look to see if it can get back to that price and then slide into the side of that trade. But there was one that got away. I want to go back to that GRTX. I took this one out off the low of the day. This is like one of the worst shorts that made money ever, because not only did I take it up low of the day, it's going further, I didn't get anything on each of these pops. So I'm now out of Facebook, so that one's going to break to the downside. Just broke that 325 and is not looking like it's going to come anywhere back. So I'm going to turn negative on the session for sure. I'm just kicking myself because there were shorts that I had available to me that could have mitigated this day. One that I was in that I could have held. I at least have held eBay, and then certainly Caterpillar. There's nothing that's easy about trading, but to me that was sort of an easy call off a name that beat that you could go short today and let's trim your position, which we talked about in our preparation.
Yeah, there's lots of things today, guys. Okay, so I have to wait. Like, I literally just picked up Apple right here at this 134 level, averaging into that name. We're waiting for Ford to break out as well. And I'm not taking any new positions. So we'll have to wait to see what does happen on this one. MyMed falls down, we get out there. This was not, again, like when we're taking shares early on this name, like 928, 929, we don't put in big orders to break tops or bottoms in the pre-market. I'd rather let it settle down. And to be quite frank, MyMed today just disappointing again, just on the price action. I thought that we would get a little bit of a bump here. It doesn't look like that's happening. Maybe a 470 break, something like that on MyMed could be something if it gets back to the upside. I want to hold a little bit of it. We'll see if it breaks this 450 right now. So we're going to hold a little bit of MyMed, but realistically, man, my whole day, not my whole day, but what's going to tell the tale in the next 20 minutes is going to be Ford. It's either going to, crash back, we get out here, and then I just start beating up that poo emoji, or it goes back to the upside and we make back a little bit here of what we've lost on Ford. So one or the other is going to have to happen. Right now, eBay does make a bottom there at 55, probably worth getting out. Hey man, at least with the roller coaster day today, we could celebrate eBay because a nice move downside there. Yep. We're capturing that profit. So hey, we talked about going short. There it is, eBay right now. Obviously the market helps this short out today, but the report, I talked about it early, and so there it is right now, eBay with a nice move to the downside. I think this is probably worth just taking it out right now at this 55 mark and then pray that the market wants to bounce higher.
Yeah, I just got back and I typed in the chat there. Sometimes you got to start thinking about Facebook's not going to work for me. I'm going to take the hit on that one. I'm still in Qualcomm. I love their report as well. But Overstock was the one that immediately worked out and only worked. So if this is going to consolidate and give me back to my original entry price that I liked at 80, while the market's trying to make a low, this is going to make some sense to me. So I'm going to re-enter into this trade. It's just giving you a bit of a recovery off of 78 as well. So it flushed, recovered, gave some consolidation. So I'm going to get back in Overstock. It's not about playing with house money. It's just about getting particular in terms of what I'm going to like to that long side. And if I get some pullbacks on some of the names I like to those shorts, I'm going to look to get back in on any kind of a pop on weakness, whether it's that the GRTX or whether it's eBay. Either one, I don't mind. It's 10 o'clock. Let's get to Brennan for Happening Now.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock indeed. Let's go. Let's have a look at North American markets to start things off. It's the S&P leading the way so far today, up about 0.5%. The NASDAQ close behind there, 0.4%. The Russell having a bit of a bounce back day, if you remember, a couple of days showing some weakness, but 0.4% today. Here's the composite NASDAQ, 0.3%. The Dow 0.3 as well. Everything else basically unchanged as far as North America is concerned. Let's have a look at a couple of things we were talking about in the pre-market. Yeah, guys, we're just talking about this. I just want to highlight this area over here on eBay, coming into some significant levels, 55 down to 53 here. So we'll see. Lots of volume, though, so far on eBay. Qualcomm as well tested these highs from yesterday aftermarket above 145, but straight downside. Trying to bounce, though, 142. Guys, back over to you.
And I'm going to come back to that clover because it just came, like I just mentioned, if it gets back up to that 11 range, try to consolidate once, it pops, only gets to about 11.10, 11.15, and just keep noting, at the open, this had a run off of 11.20, so that's kind of why in front of that makes some sense to me. I'm going to see if I can't get into this one to the south side of the trade. Oh, I just did at 9s. So on this consolidation, I'll take another crack at it if it gets back to that. I do that all the time where I say, yeah, when it tests here eventually, instead of just pointing to here, we had that consolidation break at 11.20 to 11.25. So I was waiting for a bit of a pop to find some shorts. I mean, one of them was going to be that clover. And again, it's up 5%. It's worth noting. I did think that there was going to get eventually to this point where that 11.50 would turn out to be some resistance, or 11.50 area up to 11.75. The top, 11.77 in today's action. So it has already made a bit of a reversal off of a key level. If I'm going to short a pop, that's the only way to get in because so many names have already made some lows here today, and I don't want to be necessarily shorting the bottoms. eBay did not break that 55, unfortunately. Well, it depends on how you want to look at it. Well, it got to like 95, so that's not a real break. So if it gives a pop up here, I'm kind of willing to get back in if it gets up to that 56 area. So I kind of still like the short on eBay. I've not added to that position at any point. It was just the pre-market trades that we had going into that. Didn't even get to 58, so that 57.50, and then the flush. I haven't covered anything because when the market's going down, you're digging into longs. If you have a short that's the money, I'm just going to hold on to that short regardless of target to make sure you can at least offset to the best of your abilities. So hopefully eBay is going to work out. OSTK, overstock, that is still, I guess, barcoding, as you would say here, Sean. I did get back in one time at 80.50s. If it consolidates any further, maybe I'll add another entry point here. There is a little bit of stabilization happening in the market, so you pick your spot that you want to get back in and maybe wage a bit of a battle. I like overstock today. It's still up 15%. It did get to 89. I took off maybe too early at 86. Threw away like $2 worth of profit. Probably a bit of a mistake, but it was a harsh reversal. I don't want to get caught in a move like that. That's why I took it out on the way up.
Okay, yeah, so AMD 50 cents in the money. We've already, Neil, look, that eBay out, like we got that out. That was a good one. We'll see if it comes up to VWAP again before we short that. But actually, we already talked about that. Okay, so Ford, another name here, and this may look silly. Like, why am I taking this out? But I told you, I'm just trying to lick some of these wounds here on Ford. Now I'm going to be done. I still have half of my position left. Like all of these outs, and I still have half of my position. So this is how you know the kind of shares that we're trading, or I'm trading over here anyways on Ford. A lot of opportunity to get in and out. I've made back a decent amount here as it's starting to run. We are long, thank God. I think we got to get another spot out here if we can. 37s there. There it is. So it just cleans it out right there. 37, so a 10-cent win. It's not huge on Ford, but again, it's just kind of like, let's get out, man. Let's get out now. See if it retraces back to the bottom. We're have half of our shares out now. Just working it. And that's what that trade is. AMD bounces right back. I think this is probably worth taking it out. This is another 50-cent win. So, hey, man, we bought and picked yesterday. We talked about picking up AMD for a swing trade. Beat down yesterday. No real reason for that, in my opinion. But again, look, this is what's happened. We were doing another show, a video, and we were talking about on earnings, tech earnings especially, the market tends to give back. We've seen this last time, man. Apple earnings, Facebook earnings. You saw Softy. We're going to probably see Amazon tomorrow. The only one that was really, really impressive that held, Facebook's holding fine, but Google held nicely, and everything else, man. You can even go back a couple earnings seasons, and it's like, the big cap tech just keep getting hit. So I have to stick that in this thick skull of mine and just remember that it's better to buy, wait for the market to settle down like we said we would and didn't follow our own rules today. So I'm going to get out of some AMD right here if it breaks back down below 84.50. Otherwise, let's see if it can take out some highs. Our Apple, though, coming down to that 133.50 area where we got to say see ya to that stock.
Yeah, and just got out of Qualcomm. It broke that 142. It's going to be down to Overstock and Ford for me. Those are the last two that are going to be standing. I mean, Overstock never give me the average in, so I'm only into like 50 at that 80-50 area, unfortunately. So I did want to see if it could consolidate and give me another entry point. It started popping upside. I want to get in only in front of 80, even if I can. I mean, there is that 78 bottom that's going to be worth it, I think, as well. The other position, I just got into that Clover. It started moving down, and I was actually sort of bidding here just below that 90 mark, and then of course it makes a bit of a hard turn. That area, this 1120 to 1125, if it consolidates here, and obviously VWAP's there as well, if it consolidates there, that's another place to possibly get back into some shares there to the short side, or at least average in to the short side of a position. Until it trips into that range, I'm going to hold off on that entry point. I still think there's time to be a little bit patient. And then that GRTX, which looked all kinds of, I mean, look, in the morning, obviously, up 28% now, but it was up at $10. There's just no bounce in this stock. I mean, waiting for the dips has been just a colossal sort of, waiting for it to bounce has been a colossal failure when it comes to trying to get back into the short trade. Got out of this one entirely too early, but that's probably true for any short, I think, this morning, Sean.
Yeah. I mean, especially eBay. I mean, I only had one short this morning, so eBay was about as clear as day to me. And then that 55 bottom there. Yeah, I mean, just because you mentioned shorts there, that was the only one that I had. We talked about Nokia this morning as well, and I don't think we've traded that yet. NOK right now. Again, another one, right? Remember I said in the morning, and even Neil did, like, you know, people stuck on this, and they come out, you know, near $5. This is making that bottom. Again, if you want a bottom pick, I'm already doing that. Like, I'm already bottom picking a lot of these names right here today, but I just don't know. Is the bottom even in yet? We need the NASDAQ to break above this 13,970 right here, guys. Oh, you can't even see that. Oh, man, here you go. 13,970. We need it to break back above. Right now, the NASDAQ kind of just, you know, deciding what it wants to do. It's going to be led by Apple, which I'm already long. So I kind of feel like I have a proxy on the market there with this Apple long. What's up, Brendan?
Yeah, everything looking very similar today. Even the airlines, this is Spirit Airlines save, guys. Initial strength got faded, but we're coming back into decent levels here. They actually announced an offering in the pre-market that drove it up above 36. So a little bit of support coming, still up 1% for Save.
Yeah, I was just having a quick look at Pinterest here. Double bottom. I mean, 66. It made a bit of a bottom here, and worth noting, it got it and broke this 66 area in the afternoon show. Oddly enough, we did have a bit of a retracement, like a bit of a buy off the bottom that got a scalp trade on Pinterest yesterday, despite shorting it all day long. There was this 66, and I like a double bottom here, but you're looking at lower highs being put in. That would kind of get me away from taking any longs off of VWAP, at least for now, and especially when the market weakness as well is the other thing too, guys. Overstock, yeah, I guess it does want to give me that shot. So I got some more shares here in front of that 80 level on Overstock, and Clover is so I got into a short on Clover, obviously. Clover is the other one that, if it'll load here for a second. There we go. Clover is the other one that we just added a position to. So it comes in, tests that 25 to 30 area, it gets to VWAP. I get some on the way back down at 22. So if it flushes, now I was going to wait for like the south side of 1090 to take any profit. I'm going to definitely take some out in front of the bottom end of, in front of that 11 even, if it can get back down there again. So got some more shares into Clover. Overstock, my average price is 34. Try to be a little bit patient with it. I know it could have been a little bit better. I don't think it goes back to 89 on Overstock. I think that's, in this market in particular, at least a little bit wishful thinking here. But if it can break like 82 VWAP, I mean, I'm certainly going to take some up between that 82 and the previous high at 83. Certainly some out in front of 85 as well. If you get this bounce in the market, which hasn't really happened yet, I'll be a little bit more rapid to take profit off in the middle of this range at 82 to 85 on Overstock.
Yeah, I'm sitting here like shaking my head. Like, I mean, I don't know what's happening here. I mean, I didn't think Apple today, and I guess it's a good idea here that I'm not able to trade my long-term account right now because it's just giving me a better opportunity to buy Apple lower. You were right at that 133.50 mark, Brendan, and yeah, Apple doesn't look like it wants to hold. We're long right now, 135.20, so we're out of the money here, $1.40. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's going to be basically $2, $1.70 loss if it does come all the way back to the downside here on Apple. Well managed for me for my portfolio. But yeah, not a great day today. Owed to be short early today, Brendan.
2 days in a row, we're seeing some of these earnings get sold off. Unfortunately, again today, UXIN was mentioned by Lewis, if you joined us early on today. Just popped up on volume here, getting back above $3. So making its way back through that pre-market range, this 325, 330 area up here, going to be important for UXIN.
All right.
Yeah, I'd look at that one, but like to be honest, like when you're sitting there and if you ever have a meme stock or a semi-meme stock, you got to watch out for these like little short positions that you'll have. Clover is going to start to enter this range here. Did I start too early? I don't think the answer is yes. The answer is I should have taken some out and scalped that position. If I do so, then I'm going to get back in. You have a better cost point. You've made a little coin on the position. So as it starts to enter like that chop range where you're up to your decision point, instead of having trimmed some, I find myself still in the full position. And if it doesn't roll over here, you're kind of put to the test when it gets to 1135 and 1150. Now, do I want to lose 40 cents in this trade? Absolutely not. Can I average into it having not taken any profit? That's the other side of the trade. I'm not going to do so. I have to look at it here. And if it cannot retake VWAP, I cannot add to that position. I need it to break down to that 11 area. The other one that we're going to have to watch out for is I thought we'd have a bounce in overstock. I mean, the market's leveling off, and look what's happening here. You're still consolidating off that low. There is no bounce yet. This is one of the stronger reports here, but still no bounce. It's my best stock today, but no secondary push when the market is trying to level and when it's starting to consolidate, when it was such a banger. Bit of a surprise there on overstock. Forward looking okay, but I'm not taking anything off until it gets to that 40 mark, or at least closer to VWAP.
Guys, look at this, guys. AMD, man, this is what we're going to come flying in on, man. So we'll just, at least we got one name today, right? Well, we got a bunch of them. We took $3 or $2.50 on eBay. That was cash. And then now look at this pickup right here on AMD. And we actually wound up holding some of our shares, right? So good outs here. And now we fly to the high side here. I'm going to get out if this breaks back down below 85 on the downside. So good move there. We are also cleaning out some of our our Ford shares. We just took out a 38 there, or was that a 37 print? I don't know, 37 or 38 it looks like there. So a nice takeout there on Ford. So happy to get that print, that's for damn sure, as it's just going to the high side right now. Thank God. I told you that like in 20 minutes, my mood will either be yay or nay. And it's good now because, we just got that move back to the upside there, cleaned it all out there on Ford. Now we're holding about 40% of our trade. So, was a big position. We got spanked on it, but thank God, able to make some back. And like we said, very easy to hold this for us. Okay, 85, we're gonna get out on this one, man. This is already a big win for that. And then the only other position I have on is Apple. Did a dance there at 135.50 and almost cracked, guys. It got as low as 136.67. But with the NASDAQ doing this may be a good opportunity. I may just take a piece out here of Apple. I mean, it's come right back up, 134.40. I wanna hold this for the win, but I don't know. Is it going to win? 134.35. Sometimes it's good just to take out a little bit if we can get some. But look at the NASDAQ, man. Wow, it's going to breach lows again, NASDAQ. Can't you get going? I guess if Apple doesn't go, the market's not going to go. So as you can see, look at the charts, almost 1 for 1 here. I'm going to put an offer at 134.40. That's so silly. I mean, I think this thing goes 137 soon. So I'm going to get some out anyways. Let's just wait on it. What's up, Bren?
Yeah, just looking for strength in this overall market. Found some in the banks, guys. So JP Morgan here, you can look at Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, all higher, but I mean, it's not impressive as far as relative strength is concerned. 54.50, a bit of a problem here for JPM. Even the banks starting to look like they want to test lower, guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the thing. And I look to the board to see like what is holding up that isn't maybe like a small cap or something along those, in that vein, I should say. And I look at Spotify here, double topped 265. So of course, that's where the strength comes in this market. I mean, look at this 260 level. Right? So sometimes it's like do as we say, not as we do, because for me to come out and say like, yeah, I like the defensive 260 when that name got brought up, and then it gives you that bottom, and I'm sitting here trading a couple of other names, and maybe over trading, I think, and that's why I've tried to trim the number of long positions that I have in this market to try and pick a few better spots, because that was a huge miss on spot. If the market can hold up, you're probably likely to get a nice little VWAP bounce here. I can sit here and say, all I want that, okay, look at that, Clover came back for me, but let's let's not forget what I was just telling you guys. Is, I'm going to take I'm going to take some shares off here, just cross into the book to get some out in the teens, because the mistake that got made was not taking any of that dip, therefore not allowing me to get more shares. I was telling you guys in that little consolidation up around that 30 to 35. That's that chop zone we talked about. So unfortunately, I'll get some out here, but this should have been profit taking, better price, than taking a winner instead of getting out of the first shares that we had at essentially 11.10, basically for flat, right? So bit of an execution bungle on my part. If it can hold this, level now between 10s and 25s, I can at least consider getting back in. I'd rather it dip down into this range of 95 and get some more shares out before digging too deeply back into Clover. I mean, the market, I don't know, I'm not seeing much of a bounce here, but I've got my overstock position. I'd take some spot if it gets me that good price. But you guys are going to Brendan. What's up, buddy?
Just saw this little headline from the FDA. They're talking about proposing a ban on menthol cigarettes. Remember, there was a headline going back a couple weeks ago talking about reduced nicotine in cigarettes, or the possibility of the Biden administration issuing that. So this 22nd Century down significantly here. More than 8%. One of the products they make, in addition to plants with lower nicotine, are menthol cigarettes. So XXII under pressure here. I looked at Altria as well, really not doing a lot. It is lower, but so is the market, guys.
Yeah. AMD. I mean, we can look at Altria, Philip Morris. There's a couple names there. I don't know who the big menthol players are, but Camel maybe. I don't know who owns them. Okay, 84. I mean, there it is. We got out. I mean, we took that advantage there. You could see the NASDAQ dropping down. I already own Apple, so no point in also holding on to AMD here when we have this kind of a rip to the upside. So, and it'll be a hit on Apple, but like I just said, we're going to take a $2 hit on Apple, most likely, if it breaks down below. We'll talk about that. But this was a nice win for us on AMD. So, sometimes trading too much obviously hurts you, but at the same time, it helps you, right? So, like, this month has just been fantastic. Hopefully, we'll see what happens tomorrow, and today. I think I'll still be positive today when I come back at 3:15. But for right now, it's been a big month. And then today, we just got caught up loving a lot of these names to the long side. I mean, Facebook, we were long. Good thing we got out of that way of that one. We didn't get out of the way of Apple. Look at the market coming right back to the positive here. So sad for that one. Facebook was a mistake. Ford was a mistake. And Apple was as well. But eBay, no mistake there, man. A good opportunity to get short again. Like, we took the very bottom of this at 55, so that was a good out. So, we have money here. We have AMD, we have eBay. Plug was a good one. MindMed, not really. Waiting for MindMed to do something now. Should have picked some up on the bottom. That's not happening. But I'm going to find some new names. I got the message there, Sterling, from you, again, to look at Microsoft. So let's just take a quick look here. It looks like my Apple's going to break here. I mean, this market's just coming to the downside. Yeah. I mean, look at this. Look at Microsoft, right? I mean, I don't know what name to look at anymore. If you're going to go long, today is not the day for you. Microsoft right now ticking down lower. And again, not a great report. I thought the report was great, but not good action yesterday on Softy. Coming back in today. You can retest all these levels, 246, 245. We can look at a 250 level here for Softy, but again, I can't go long right now on this name, unfortunately, guys. I just have everything else is long right now. So Apple, I'm resting on that one. We'll see if that wants to do anything down here. We're back to the low, man. 133.50 here for AAPL. Bouncing, maybe. We'll see, but it's looking nasty right here on the downside.
I got to not do this. I can't look a gift horse in the mouth, not when it comes to Clover. I sort of talked you through what I thought was a bit of an execution error. Well, not a bit. It was certainly an execution error, and not taking profit and then not allowing myself the ability to get some more shares in that 25-35 rollover. So when it dips down and briefly breaks 11 even, yes, I'm going to take some out here at 97. So overall, this is going to be, like, for now, a winning trade. I just don't like the way that I structured it. If it comes back, and I've given myself some room that I can take a bit of an average in if it gets that 25 to 30 again, but I should have already done that. If I executed properly, I certainly would have. Patience sometimes is a virtue, and if I had a little bit more patience and it was a little faster to take that scalp profit, which we usually are, I'd have done even better on Clover. You guys are going to do well to go to Brendan for the small cap recap.
It is, in fact, small cap time. Let's have a look at a few things that I was checking out this morning. This BTX, I was just kind of standing here looking at some of these levels this morning and kind of realizing that I was way too focused on smaller time frames. So 41 here ended up being a little bit of resistance right before the open. But this thing is so thin and so illiquid that if you miss, trying to punch out on a move back up, you get burned pretty badly. This went all the way to 42.5, halted on the way up, and then immediately gets flushed all the way down to 34. Just no volume, no liquidity in this, but it did give you an opportunity depending on where you catch this thing on the way back down. But 44 up here, and then 45.5 was that high from the pre-market. So I really wanted to push into that, but that one's a loser for me today. But maybe could have focused a little bit broader and done a little bit better. GRTX, on the other hand, was a great trade. This was my main focus at the open today. I mentioned 980.10 and then 1025 to 1050. That doesn't come into play. I got a little over ambitious, I guess, with this. I really wanted the long up to 1050 and then reverse back down, but that doesn't happen. So the long doesn't work, but the short was great, all the way down to 820 with the overall market fading off as well. One more real quick and then we'll get back. OCGN, still watching this. It's in this, or it's trying to break out of this range from the past 2 days here. It got flushed right at the open, all the way down to 1020. Not a huge mover, but pretty easy trade as well for OCGN. Guys, back to you.
Oh, OCUGen. Yeah, that's got to be a good one for you there. No, certainly. I got away from a couple of names that I know we're trading throughout the week on an earnings season where there's a lot to watch. Got to the wayside. The only one, like I said, that we got to, and again, it's going to pop up here, which is why I'm going to bring it up, is that Clover. If it gets any kind of sideways action at that 20 to 25, I'm going to take some more shares. I've been sort of, when I looked at the daily chart on Ford, and I'll go through it here. Like the second I saw like this 1118, I didn't think this was going to be in play today. These 11 teens, and then you get the just crazy flush, almost to SSR. I don't know if we actually got that. We haven't got down 10% yet, but you get almost into that range. I mean, 1117, 1118 is the actual low of the day. The fact that it's going to test it, there's been no bounce back into view up. I have orders between 40 and 50 to be able to get out. I've been holding off to add till it got back down towards those teens because I hadn't taken any profit out. So I'm just getting back into some more shares here, adding to my position at that 25. If this breaks those teens, I mean, I'd be a little bit shocked, but in this day, you can't rule anything out. There's only so far you're going to be willing to defend levels. So I'll go puts if we break that, sort of like call it like 11.10 or so, give it like 5 extra cents on Ford. One other one that I'm still in that, here we go, NASDAQ. I'm still in that overstock position. Still in that overstock position, it's still consolidating but grinding lower. So as the market just made a tiny bounce, overstock, which was so strong on that report, resisting the temptation or resisting the ability to get back even to VWAP, I've now gone ahead and put some orders in. I'll start taking like at least for half the position, like $1.50 and like $2 worth of profit if I can get that. And then maybe we can get that run to 83.40. The longer this coils up, with the market rebounding and this not rebounding, I'm not going to like it. I'll reserve the right to maybe cancel one of these orders if we're screaming back to 14,000 on the NASDAQ, but that'd be a good problem to have because it'd be running in the money for me here. One that did not, let's go to plug power, here we go. One that worked and then stopped working, similar to overstock, but was even weaker. Plug power, the only good thing I can say about this is didn't get stubborn because fresh lows through 29 here. It broke the pre-market low, got about 20, 30 cents and has recovered. This could be one of those where it's like a flush out bottom, then you're taking a long break at that previous pre-market, I guess, breakout and high price of 29.30. It's not there yet, but it's on my radar for a re-entry. Brendan?
One we mentioned yesterday, I believe maybe 2 days ago, Vizio, the TV maker, just noticed was higher today. Not a lot of volume, but Verizon Media teaming up with Vizio on a couple of different deals that they're working on, but right back down as well. So as I mentioned, a lot of charts, as you guys have seen, looking like this. 28.60 ends up being the high, all the way back down. Still up 2% though for Vizio.
All right, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at these charts. I'm looking at the same stuff that you guys are, obviously, as well. A little undercover name here. You may have not heard of this company before, but it's Palantir. So we just picked up some nice longs there at 20. We're just waiting, man. I mean, we've seen Palantir do this dance over and over and over again. We got some out there 27s. Now we'll just wait to see if it wants to go up. I mean, we're going to defend this 23 level. The market did bounce a little bit there, as you guys can see. So there is some potential here with Palantir, but at the same time, we know how sensitive this market is today. So, you're going to have to watch out for these longs, and we're well aware of that. So We're picking up some light shares now, trying to get some longer positions near 23. So that's going to be my call right there for Palantir. Let's see if we can get some longer trades downside. But for right now, we do have a small starter position here on PLTR. So you'll often hear me talk about that when I have starter positions or whatever based. So, it's a light position. We're going to try to get some out. I mean, if it can come up to 23.50, I think we can really smash this for the long. But again, we need that market. And if it's not going to go, then neither is this. So not worth smashing right now. If the market can get above here, this is the same level we talked about 20 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago, this 13.7, 13.97 right here. If we can get above that level on the NASDAQ, yeah, there you go. You guys can see that right here on the NASDAQ there. Then I like this potential for a longer trade. But for right now, kind of not doing anything right here, especially, you could look at Apple as well. It makes a nice bounce. We did get some out there on that bounce back up. We talked about that. So that's a good trade to get a little bit. That's still Palantir. Oh man, Apple. So, we still have an offer. So we still have an offer right there. We should be getting out soon on Apple. But again, it's bounced a couple times here. I have a 40. Should have got out there. But yeah, we're going to wait for Apple on this move. Let's see what the NASDAQ wants to do. But for right now, yeah, struggling still on the downside. I still think Apple can go, guys. We're not even down that much. We're out $1 on this name. We took a $3.250 winner on eBay. So this name can go. Let's hold on to our Apple and just hope that this works out. Ford not working out, but Apple right now looks like it may have found a bottom.
I'm going to go with, trying to dodge grenades here. I've hit that one a couple of times. And Clover, at least the second time through, I managed to take some profits. So when I get back in at that 30s, I got stopped out. Look, if this ends up being the top, again, you're putting some higher lows here. And if I make mistakes on a stock, I kind of say to myself, is my read that great on it? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'll be happy to walk away taking some profit out of it and then getting the sort of a tight stop through 1140. And if I've made that temporary lower high, it is what it is. We can always try to find a reentry a little bit later on in the session. I still am only in that eBay to the short side now that I've taken off that Clover position. Speaking of eBay, I don't want to lose sight of this. That ugly wick is sort of skewing my chart there. I don't want to lose too much sight of it. It's trying to test back below that 55. Now, at this particular time of day, if we make another leg down in the market, eBay is going to be a breakdown trade at 65. It's just sort of that simple. So I kind of say to myself, if I'm going to be in that trade anyways, let me plop down in front of this 55 even, and then just see if I can't get out. It was a bit of a failed breakthrough 55, but I missed the reentry point here with trading other names, so I might as well just take the profit on eBay. It'll be over a $2 winner. I'll be happy with, I guess, what was the best short of the day. I don't think it was that hard. Getting their lunch taken, I think, this morning with that report. And if you guide poorly, you're going to get beaten up. Pinterest, eBay, same thing. So I'll take my profit and then look for a 55 break. If it can retake that level, first time didn't work. Second time could be a charm, especially with the market making no bounce just yet, Sean.
Okay, yeah, no bounce, but there's the out there. We talked about that on Apple, so finally got it there, 134.40. It actually turned out that I didn't have the order there when I said I thought I did. I must have canceled it. I hit my escape key, you can see how many times I do that. So right now, 134.38, a nice out. Not a nice out, it's a bad out. It's a 80-cent hit there on Apple for that position. So whatever, we got it out, it's topped out. I want Apple, I think we get back here, guys. It's just, how beat down is this name? Hopefully it stays here and I can pick this up at a lower price. But right now, man, Amazon earnings coming. So, it's been a tech wreck the last couple days, although we're still up today. What am I talking about, Brendan? I need some water. What's up?
Yeah, struggling, but we are still higher. I was just checking the market as well as trying to make new lows. CTXR, another little one, therapeutics company, just popping up. I just noticed on volume here. They had positive trial data release that they put out this morning. Looks like it was rumored aftermarket as well. 5.5% here for CTXR.
All right, Palantir, we did take another bid. So now we're long at 17 here on Palantir, 15. So this is how you know, 19, 17, 15, 17. So now our average price right in the middle. So we just take the same amount of shares here. We took the same at 20 that we took at 15 or 16. So 16. So giving us an average price. You can see it on the board right now. I don't know what it shows. 18's it rounding it up. So 17.5 rounding up to 18. So that's the position that, actually, I guess because we took that out. So we have a little bit different price. But now we have that long now, 17, 18 on PLTR. And we're more loaded. we said that with that position yesterday. We reloaded, so we did that again. This was in the aftermarket. We had some good times there before me kicking out the power yesterday. That was fun times. But now we're reloaded on Palantir. If you joined us last night, tell us what movie that is. There's going to be some mistakes in the chat for sure when they figure out what movie, guys, this is from. We all know the actor. Put in the chat if you know what movie that is. And don't cheat if you were on the show yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, we go by the honor system around here when we try to give you guys those little tasks. I'm going to come to UXIN, if only because you get a failure like that at that 340 level, and then now breaking back below VWAP here. So it's probably setting up one of those little consolidation pops. So if it does that, we go sideways for a little bit and then breaks 3. I'd maybe look for like a 310, 315 off of that little high, take a bit of a short position. So it's on my radar there, guys. I think I haven't made a trade, well, not today. I haven't made a trade in UXIN today. Certainly want to have a look at it. GRTX is the other one from this morning. It is, look, it's trying to bounce here. It's leveling off. I think if it takes any kind of a break through this 865, instead of sort of waiting like I would have been between like 925 and 940, I'll take a shot at $9 for this one. It makes a bit of a retracement. At some point, you have to just get back into it, and I've been waiting too patiently, I think, for GRTX. Brendan?
All right, 10:30, guys, real quick, coming up at 11:15. Don't go anywhere because we're going to have a great guest come through. Yes, Sefton Fincham, President, CEO of Cloud9. Web3 Technologies. This is in the crypto space, crypto mining space specifically. Really interesting product, really interesting site. Stick around for this. Going to be a good discussion coming up at 11:15 this morning. In the meantime, let's get a check on how things in Europe are shaping up. Under an hour to go over in Europe. V, what's up?
Hey, Brendan, European markets were trading higher earlier, boosted by strong earnings reports. Now Europe is flat. Unilever trading in London is up more than 3% after posting better than expected quarterly sales due to strong economic recovery in China. Back to you.
Yeah, a little bit different today, as we're mentioning, strong earnings, but very weak market so far, guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly been the story. I know we haven't looked. I know some people like to look at Tesla, of course, and when all the other earnings names come through, some names are going to get neglected by us. Tesla just broke this 687, so it made a fresh low here today. I'm watching for it because it's right at that teen level. If it can't break here, I'll give it the ghost. But Tesla just breaking. Okay, my chart doesn't want to load on the daily chart there, but just breaking through that 687, as I mentioned. I'll show you guys on the 15-minute chart. Not insignificant. You do have some bottoms from last week. I think there should be some support down at 666, which is $20 away. So if things get absolutely hairy, I'm not necessarily looking at Tesla until we drop another like $15 to $20. But I mean, I'm going to be all over loving that one if it gets there. And I'm not ruling anything out today. That's kind of the thing. I mean, I'm not saying that Tesla has any shot, but if you start discounting moves like that, you'll miss out on opportunities to that bottom side when they do tend to go. To visit back on Clover, even my 1 minute here, visit back on Clover. It was a good out. I mean, it got up to like 60s. At that point, I'm thinking only test of the high of the day. Never quite got to 1180, so no re-entry point for me. If it retests the high, that'll maybe take a shot at it.
So Ford is at a testing point right now as well. What's up, V? Ford is at a testing point right now. Yeah, they had the back of your head there. 11:15 right now. I mean, if this breaks, guys, we're going to be gone. This is why we took out up here, right? I told you that we were just sort of licking our wounds with Ford there. And yeah, so it's going to be a loser for us. There we go. For sure, there we go, out. It's going to be a loser there, but, we're still holding on. No to nothing. Got out of everything there. So enough with you, Ford, right now. Again, bad trade, but at least we were able to get some out there to save us a little bit there on Ford. But by far, my worst stock today, Mr. Ford. Mr. Ford, yeah, that's our premiere here. Okay,
no
$23
comment.
Dropping right now on Palantir. You can see our average price now on this name is 11. So that should just tell you right there, like what kind of shares we put on right there at 9 to make sure that our average is good. It's going to be a loss. Our average is 11. I mean, we can withhold like a 15-cent hit again on Palantir. We can withhold all these hits. But I mean, to be honest with you, the market just not going, right? And so on a day where you need to be short, I am not, and getting punished right now. So Ford continues to drop, not continues, but did continue to drop. Palantir continues to come down. And again, this is why, like, you know, when you're long or short and things start to come back for you, you know, it's worth taking some profit or some outs, even if they're not profitable. So that's not a good trade there on Apple, but at least we're able to get something out. I got to find something to short, but right now Palantir's at that, there it is. It's at the breaking point. I'm going to give it a few more cents lower, but it's just cracking through. Here it goes. Just cracking through. There we go. Out. Just cracking through 23 right now. So no love for any of these names long, as the NASDAQ definitely going to turn red in just a matter of seconds.
Yeah, and of course, you talk about the names that could have been that short opportunity, and one of them, which, I mean, it certainly was. I don't know if it's still going to be. I'm going to talk about Nokia here. It's still up 10%, but it's given like this slow reversal to the downside without any bounce overall in the market. And you sort of look back here and say, with this kind of a gap fill, it's already gone halfway, I'd say, like almost like halfway back here. You do start to think, I mean, if it turns around here, for those of you that are bullish and you want to defend a Nokia, I'm anticipating that there might be a bit of a bounce because of this. And then you start looking at that 75 to 80 area for that I guess for that short trade. I still have overstock. That's worth defending. Whoops. There we go. Overstock. It keeps trying to get back to that 81 where I was looking to take a little bit of profit here. It bounces off it like now a couple of times. It's still holding the low. So there's at least a little bit of a chance, I think, now that I've only given up to this one last sort of long trade. And this is what the NASDAQ is looking at in the face, right? We're staring at yesterday's bottoms. You go back into the 26th, the beginning of the week. These are the lows that we ramped up from at the beginning of the week. So if we cannot hold these levels, you almost have to give up the ghost here. I mean, that's sort of like kaput. If we cannot hold down around like 13,880 and maybe a couple of pips lower than that, I think you're in some serious trouble if there's no bounce here. So I'm holding overstock to see if it can hold that lower today. But as we test the bottom, overstock doing the same thing at 78s.
Okay, so we're playing the middles here on Clover. We took that 50 long. I didn't even realize I had it. And then now we're going to be going long at 11 here, seeing what happens. So we're back into the money. Well, I mean, it's 31's our price on Clover, but we take another shot. They're at 11.10. And just giving this back to the downside, I mean, an 11 break is about as easy as it gets. So if we want to break through 11, we'll scram out of this one. But right now, let's test to see if Clover wants to continue to go high. I'm really surprised, though, that Apple remains where we are right now. I don't know. Maybe it does want to go upside. Maybe this is the name that we sort of hitch our wagon to right now on a NASDAQ bounce. But, you know, it keeps bouncing off that 133.50 level. And I don't know, maybe that's the level there for Apple. So we'll wait to see. We've been wrong on our longs so far, so let's not put any money on it right now. But I think that could have been maybe a decent little bottom there, maybe worth putting a little bit more here into the kitty for Apple. You know, again, we've been chasing longs all day, and it just hasn't worked. So the market continues to make bottoms, and I mean, here's the NASDAQ today, just do. The carnival continues to the downside. So we're fine. We're long Clover. We're still baby long Palantir, and then let's just wait to see if there is some sort of a rebound in the market. If there is, then yeah, we want to be long Apple. It looks like right now for the rebound. Just think that it's been holding up relatively okay. It's still strong, and that report was monstrous, man. I don't know when they're going to come in and buy this, but maybe it's going to be in the afternoon. Doesn't look like it's right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not just tech names that are getting, sort of getting whomped down here. I'm going to show you like U.S. Steel, which is, I mean, it's down down 3% or so. So it's not equally weak to some of the other names we pulled up. Of course, my daily not wanting to cooperate for some reason, but you start to look at some of these levels where you might like a bit of a defense. We're still holding, and again, when I showed you that chart of what the weekly levels were, so anything holding above that kind of retracement, I think is doing at least solidly here. And I start to think about that 22 area, which, you go back into last week when you had that consolidation in and around 22 before getting the ramp to 25. I mean, last time I checked, inflation was still here. Last time I checked, asset prices were going up and steel prices were insane. So let's see if we can't get any kind of a consolidation on the U.S. steel. I know we've been focusing on tech mostly, but I got my attention now to U.S. steel here and looking at that 22 level to see if there's a bit of a hold. I'd love to see us get a bit of a bounce first before entering into a position. I'd be willing to buy up like 10, 15 cents just to know that there's a bit of a bounce happening before you dig into that one. Starting to get the feels for that GRTX, which I said I was too patient with it. So I don't want to make the mistake of diving in too early, but it is starting to get back to the upside. Once it breaches the previous pre-market low, which is also the aftermarket high, by the way, 870. Once it breaches that, I'm gonna start looking to get into position off of that $9 area in VWAP, and a short that is in GRTX. Got out way too early of several shorts here, but I'm looking to get back into it. This is not necessarily going to follow the market. These gappers and smaller cap stocks tend to go by this, it's not that they completely ignore market moves, but they tend to have their own movement here. So I don't mind too much that the market might be bouncing into that. I actually think it's going to give me an opportunity to get in if we get a market bounce here. So not going to be reluctant. And the last one is out. There it is. Overstock just broke that 78 level. So I'm now out of that one as well. Got some buyouts that I'm in here, but it was a banger to start the day. I averaged back into it at 80s, and it breaks that 78, so I give it like a 250 hit on the way back in. Bye-bye Overstock. Bye-bye Ford as well when it broke that 1115, although it went 1 cent. So I might have just made the bottom wick on Ford, Sean.
Yeah, I would have made it with you as well. So we did take some more longs here on Palantir. Yeah, my Ford, I literally got out at that 15 level as well. So there it is right there. And yeah, now it's starting to go upside. I don't have any on. So we'll wait to see. But we did average in right there to Apple. So let's see. We are. Okay, I'm reloaded. Okay, let's hope we can blast new levels right now. Let's go over to Brendan and see what's on the board there. Oh, it's a sector watch. Looks pretty green today. Some red though. What's up, Beep?
Yeah, let's have a look at what is moving the market so far today. We are positive. So yeah, there is a decent amount of buying in the market right now, 0.25% to the upside. I mentioned the banks were strong right out of the gate, still leading as far as strength is concerned. Individual insurance companies among the leaders here. CINF, CB, both to the upside. The banks, individual banks, all in positive territory today as well. So good look for financials. Capital goods in the industrials group. GNRC reported NOC and AOS 3 to 6% to the upside. But Caterpillar here, PH, IR, and Deere. Haven't checked Deere today, but DE 1.8% to the downside, kind of offsetting that. All the weakness, or a lot of the weakness, coming from the healthcare group so far today. Number of earnings names in this group, including MRK that we talked about, 4.7% to the downside. Here's the rest of the negativity. CTXS, now PTC in the tech group, all earnings names, 10% for CTXX. PTC and now about 7% each. There's other ones here also reporting today. Qualcomm standing out though, as we mentioned, 4% to the upside, kind of helping to offset some weakness. There's eBay, 11.25%. LKQ, another earnings name. Ford, yeah, 10% to the downside. GM as well, being dragged down with that so far, 4% for GM. APTV, BWA, Tesla even in negative territory, 0.8%. So a bit of a mixed board as we've seen. Just want to mention here, Facebook 6% over here. Comcast as well reported solid report for CSA, 0.25%, as I said, to the upside. But you got to really be choosy as what you're looking at. Choosy, Sean.
Choosy, eh? Yeah, I like that word. I've been wrongfully choosy today with some of my trades. And again, that's part of it. Like, you got to be as honest as we can be with some of ththese trades today. They have not been fantastic, but we're bringing you all the action. And, to me, it's important that I make money, but it is also important that we show you some of these moves so you guys can understand, what is happening there in the market. We did take that out on Palantir again, a hit, but we've actually made back half now, believe it or not. If I were to take this level out right now, we would have made back half of what we lost there. So just as an update here, but I still think, again, like whatever I think doesn't matter apparently these days, right? So again, if we go like 18-2 on the month, so be it. We're not going to be one of these guys, but again, I just have the expectations, for your own personal performance tends to be obviously higher based on, what the kind of roll that you're on and things like that. So we didn't share size up today. That's what I keep saying. The hits are very, very reasonable and very, very easy for me to withstand. But again, we wanted to get some wins on today. And unfortunately, Ford just kept on coming to the downside. And that's really my whole day would be this Ford trade. So we tried to battle it, man. And then we just got dumped out there. Nice dark pools up to the upside. I would love to go long, and I'm debating it right here at 11:23. But oh man, I've just seen so many negative moves here on Ford today that it's really making me doubt that would be a good trade. So that's why we go over to something that is working a little bit for us now. Palantir, there's a nice little out at 15. So making back a little bit of this cash here on some of these names. Now you want to go for it? Frustrating. MindMed not doing anything, and that's just hopeful Palantir goes. Oh yeah, by the way, Apple goes right into the money for us, guys. We're long 134.75. All these averages have created opportunities for us. This was our only loss. That was our sell loss there. So all of these other positions we haven't gotten out, which gives us that average price. It goes basically not into the money, close enough to into the money. They're 20 cents out, but Apple needs to go. The NASDAQ trying downside here and not working out. So NASDAQ, let's go NASDAQ, let's go. Hopefully we can climb to new highs.
Yeah, new position alert over here for me. I got that UXIN. I was sort of, like I said, be patient. Should have been more patient on some of these things this morning. Wait for it to pop in, at least closer to that $3 range. I got 97 short. I'll take some out in this consolidation because the name of the day today is take profits where they lie and when you're working those positions. And the other one that I just got into was at US Steel. So, I wanted to see it make at least a little bit of a consolidation, a little bit of an attempt in the market to bounce. You see it barcode for a little bit here. I just got 56 half as an entry price. Want to see if we can hold that low. And again, it's going to be bottom picking to a certain extent, which, look, if you're going long in something today, you're probably going to be bottom picking. The other name that I got to come back to is, Snapchat's flat on the session. Obviously it had a bit of a move, and I think we got to this name, and it had a bit of a move to the upside, so showed a little bit of strength. And once again, you have another name which is on the lows, but not down on the session, not overextending itself. So a stock that was way up there previously. It is worth noting though, and this is sort of the problem with that Snapchat. You go to like the 15-minute chart here. You see that rejection is 66. I wanted to finally test that 65 level. It tried to extend, then failed with the rest of the market. If there's something that's going to be a bit of a rollover play, I tend to think, and again, I own Snapchat. I love them. I love them as well. But you get these lower highs that keep getting put in here. If the market were to edge lower and we were to break this double bottom on Snapchat, it would be hard not to look at that short trade through 61.70. So look, you can't sit there and only think stocks are going to hold. If it gives a failed break, go ahead and all systems go for failed break. They can't get like 61.50 for a bit of a long, but if the market makes another leg lower, I'd be looking through Snap through the bottom. Like I said, do not look a gift horse in the mouth. Never ever should you do it. UXIN, it doesn't take very long here as long as you're patient. Now, if I had already worked into a short in the 90s, then I'd be like, what am I doing? Like getting a flat? No. It gets into this consolidation range. You anticipate it could do more of the same. If it pops back up now, I have some optionality here. I can either get more shares in this like 97, 98, 99 level. I can let it pop through 3, maybe take some out at 305. The flexibility that I have now that I didn't when I was trading Clover is what's key. If it now breaks lower, I can think about maybe averaging in, if it consolidates off of 85, I'll probably get in that 90 range, 90, 95 range, or it can now slide to the low of the day. It's down 3%. Worth noting, UXIN has already come off 10%. From where I got in, that's 10% from those highs. So you got to start thinking about taking scalp trades. I'm not about targeting another 10%, maybe on the last little bit of the position, sure, but for the bulk of it, I'm taking those 10, 15, 20 cent wins for the bulk of the position here on UXIN. Brennan?
Another software IT company I just noticed having quite the day here. DXC Technologies in New York, up 4%. So another one not really caring what the market is doing right now. 33, a decent level here for this thing. It looks like we are in 52-week high territory, but it's got to get back to 32.5 if it wants to find some support again. But DXC, guys, rallying today.
That's certainly worth looking. There's one from our watch list that I know we didn't, I don't know if we talked about this. ADVM So like I think it was literally the last one, and make sure you sign up for our free watch list. Sorry, Adverum Biotech was the second last on our watch list. And these guys, they updated trial data on a diabetes treatment that clearly did not go well. I believe the words you used, Brendan, was a disappointment. I'm not even sure that holds up. That's kind of an understatement. So they're down 50%. And the difference being, I tried one of these yesterday. Sometimes when you short, you got to be willing to be able to take shorts that are at these lows, because this continued to flush. I mean, it tried to make a move here in the pre-market, but once the market not even opened up, but when the show opened up, it was still at 476. And I actually had this on my list, said, well, if it pops up and gives you something in the 550 range off of this like $6 area, I'll go short this near the bottom. I didn't, and it still was able to make a move here. Now I know in context from the gap down, it doesn't look like it doesn't look like a heck of a move. But if you're taking that when the show opened up here, and I was thinking about it, there was a breakdown here at 450. That's 10%. So I know it's down 60%. I know it was $10 at the close yesterday, but that's a 10% move that I didn't take because I was looking to short only on pops. And part of the thing with a down market that's like this is a lot of the shorts that I will do are on moves to the upside. Like I like playing that short the pops, get a good price, have a resistance level, as opposed to the breakdown trade. And when the market starts going, if you like something to the south side, you just get in and take it. That's what I'm taking away from this day today. Was not aggressive enough getting into some of these shorts. Possibly, we'll see what happens here. I mean, I don't know if I was a lack of aggression finding something like a U.S. Steel. I didn't add to this position. It has now tested the low of the day again, 22.45. Now that it's bounced off it, I'll look to see if I can get more shares maybe in the low 60s, or I guess the high 50s would be a little bit better here. So I want to get more shares. The market's trying to make a bit of a bounce. I identified I like U.S. Steel, went to the daily, saw support at 22. It's a higher low right now. So UXIN shorts working. U.S. Steel for now is working out. I'll take some out in the 70s if it gets there. 20-cent scalp trade, and then the rest we'll try to get VWAP and then 23, maybe 23/4. It's already time for Money Talk. Let's go to Brendan at the big screen.
Hey guys, currency time real quick. Let's have a look at what's happening in money world. I left the dollar index over here, DXY, coming off of some of the lows we saw over the past couple of days. So higher once again today, 90.5. But this is a daily chart. That move to the downside explains some of the strength we've seen on this board so far over the past couple of days. Here we go again. The euro was higher actually early on, has gone negative. Canadian dollar up again today, 0.1%. 81.3 now for the CAD, the British pound 0.14, back to closing in on, anyways, that 140 level, big level for the British pound, that $1.40. Both Japanese yen, Swiss franc higher. Australia and New Zealand kind of bucking the trend a little bit, 0.3 both to the downside today. Turkish lira is higher. Crypto's not really doing a heck of a lot. It's been a busy week. Big moves for crypto land, but none significant today. Ripple, the biggest winner so far, 3.4%. Guys, back over to you.
All right. Well, I got to get some winners every once in a while there, including that Ripple. So where was I? I don't even know where I was, but I was. When a day goes like this, you have to sometimes, enjoy a little fruit salad. Get a little fruit salad action going on right now. Today's fruit salad brought to you by Cantaloupe and Grapes. It seems like green grapes right now at a prime price point, because right now we're only getting the red grapes, but I like red grapes, so can't complain there. Palantir, one stock that I do like is Palantir, and believe it or not, guys, if we just take this price right now, we're back to 80% of our loss is made back right there on Palantir. So, good trade there as it's trying to bounce. Not so sexy with we did get that fill. That's a nice fill. Not a great trade here with Apple today. It's struggled to get going. We do have that nice little bottom pick right there. It's, nice to come back and see that. But yeah, it would be much nicer if we were up here. So Apple right now still struggling to go. Our average price has obviously come down. We're only out of the money 45 cents, but there is a big potential here, in my opinion, anyways, for Apple to get going. I've just been wrong on it. So let's put another order here, 134.50, and see where it goes. The other trade there, we did put our biggest position of the day on right now for MindMed. But just like, where's the sleepy time right now for this stock? It's not moving. So if we get back to 475, then obviously we'll be hitting some, some money signs there. But big position there on MindMed. It looks like it may have based out. We are waiting at the big screen there with Valeria. I have no idea what that means. Oh, there it is, NEO. Okay, what's up, Valeria?
Hey Sean, NIO is down more than 4%, and some traders would love to know your opinion if it's a good time to pick it up for a long position, or you have a different commentary, guys.
Okay, so I mean, I could take this because I always talk about NEO long term with you guys. But today, obviously, with the market coming down, I think this is a great opportunity. If you like NEO, this is a good opportunity. I mean, it's been. Okay, come on, day chart there. I can't talk about this on a day chart. If a day chart won't load, okay, I'll get it up on another platform here. No idea why that's not loading, but here we go. This is the level that we keep on pounding about, 35, 36, 37, right around here. It reminds me of the Palantir levels that we like of 21, 22-ish. So, you have the 200 period right down here at $36, and then, we're trying to break above the 50 period, which is this blue, which would be 42. So we were up there yesterday, down today, getting hit. The only issue that I have with NEO is sort of the same thing with all of these other names, right? Like, you're buying them. Like, I love Ford, right? But I didn't buy ahead of earnings. So that's the one thing where, again, a Chinese company, their accounting, again, they don't have as much regulation as we do here, well, in Canada and stateside. So again, I like NEO for a long-term trade. I think it has upside. We've seen the volume come in and it break through. But for right now, I would rather you guys wait to see what happens tomorrow. Starter position, fine. And what I mean by that, 20%, you want to put in 10 grand, buy $2,000 worth, buy 3,000, something like that today. If you think the earnings are going to be big, you saw Tesla sell more cars than they thought they would. So I don't have a problem with that with NEO, but at the same time, there's the chip shortage, there's all this yada yada about that. So, I mean, I would wait for NEO to see where they report. And if you're lucky enough to get something in the low 30s, I think you pull the trigger there. And then if the market falls down and NEO wants to fall at that point, then great. But just so you know, the only Chinese name that I like for a long term, and I'll just continue to say this, I don't have a problem with it, and that is, get rid of this now, and that is Alibaba. Alibaba, again, continues to perform sort of well under pressure. We've seen the Ant division there come under fire as well. So, and it's still relatively okay, holding up. And again, they all have these nice bottoms, man, 220, 215, things like that. You are above the 50 period moving average, but it's barely above there. So yeah, those are the names I like, and good luck. Thank you, Valeria, for bringing that. Sorry, it was 5 minutes.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all about dropping the knowledge around here, guys. You got to go to the names you like, and today gets picky with the bottom picking. So I went to a name that I liked and picked up some U.S. steel. I got the 22.55 area. Once it broke that 60s, I did try to add to the position. And again, usually when I'm long off the bottom like this, I'd like to see it test one more time. When it bounces, try to catch it on the way up. So maybe a little slow to pull the trigger, and I could have had like 55s again. I take some out for the 20-cent scalp. I'll take some out in front of VWAP for like 30 cents, and then see if we actually have made a low. It is worth noting. I saw someone saying, yeah, some successive candles in the NASDAQ or the ES. Now I got a 15-minute up for my NASDAQ, so you're going to see a bit of a bounce here. We're still sort of hanging around this 13.9 range. We did hold at least temporarily, I should say. We had held yesterday's lows almost to a T on the NASDAQ, so this is a prime spot where maybe you've got a bit of a bounce. So I want to hang on to at least a little bit. How was my daily on NEO there? That's weird. U.S. steel. I'm going to hold on to a little bit of this U.S. steel if we break VWAP, just see if we can't get back above that like 23.20. Unfortunately, I don't have any of those tech longs, as NASDAQ has held out pretty well there at that bottom. The ES trying to bounce on its own as well, but it never quite got to those same lows. And given that the wreck was bigger in tech, the bounce, I think, would be a little bit better. So I had to temper my expectations at least a little bit with that U.S. steel. UXIN doesn't care about, UXIN shouldn't care about what the market does here. This was a bit of a quick move up and retracement off of that VWAP again, so I missed a shot to get more shares at 3. I did have the 97 short. The best I got was about a 12-cent win so far. It's still consolidating, so I'll add to that position if I can get back in the mid-90s to the south side of that trade. One other one here. This led off, and it was, obviously Sean and I were both short eBay here, and I got out the last time it dipped off 55. It's now twice tried to get to that 55 mark and failed. I still like the bottom break, and if the market made another leg lower, fine, I'll short this eBay at 55 even, but it hasn't given you any shot to short into a pop on it, which is kind of crazy. It's just doing, for a stock that's under so much pressure, it's doing absolutely nothing at this particular time. What I do think is this, though. Oh, sorry, I guess my coming up has changed. Stick around. There is a trading resource video, guys. We're going to talk about some things for Day Trade the World here. I'll take my coming up off because I meant to tell you guys about the afternoon show at 3:15. I really do think eBay, one way or another, is going to be a trade going into Power Hour. But just because it was hot fire at the open and both Sean and I agreed on what we wanted to short today, I think that was somewhat of an easy call. There's almost no way eBay is going to sit here in a 30 to 40 cent range for the rest of the day. This should be a Power Hour trade. One of the reasons why we trade that last 3:15 to 4 and why it's happened so quickly is because there's tons of activity, and a lot of times the drivers are the same stocks that are from your watch list, the same stocks that have moved. Occasionally you get some news, and we get that from Brendan.
Occasionally, that news, there goes Miss B. Occasionally, that news doesn't really do a heck of a lot, but there was a headline here on IBM. They picked up this Turbonomic software company, smaller software company. There wasn't much of a reaction. I was looking at IBM here, but worth noting, guys, acquisition there by IBM.
Yeah, IBM, IBM, big name there. We love some IBM for sure. That was a good call for me anyways, that last IBM earnings report there. I'm still long that 118, and we called that. That was a beat. So there's a tech name that actually beat that we called and made a little bit of money on. We talked about buying some options on that play. MindMed, I told you this was my biggest position for MindMed, so I was waiting for 75s. It comes to 70. We take a little bit off there at 70, and now we'll just wait to see where it wants to go. But the thing about it is, man, go back to your cash cow, as much as you possibly can there. Here we go, Palantir. It didn't hold 23. It did, but we got out on that break, wondering if it was going to go lower. Once we saw that it does hold there, we take our biggest position in Palantir, and that's why when it comes back to the upside, we now turn positive on. Ooh, don't hit my watch on the table there. What am I doing? Yeah, we turn positive now on Palantir, so that comes to the upside now. So good trade there on PLTR. We'll see where it wants to go. Other than that, MindMed, that's a good one. And then Apple, I keep talking about it, and I hate doing it, so we're not going to do it because I'm sitting there waiting. I'm not going to get out of it until it breaks 133.50 or goes higher. Microsoft, though, right down to the downside, 250. It just made all-time highs. So it was priced to perfection. This name will be bought by me again very, very soon. Let's let the market come in a little bit here on earnings and then pick some of these names up near that 50-period moving average. We've already took Facebook. That's exactly what we did with Facebook earlier when we were buying 270s. Let it come in, right? Let it come in from its highs, 299, 300. Let it come in a little bit. Here's a good spot to buy as well. So now we're going to come in more. Thank God we got out. We were dead to rights on this Facebook trade, man. And then we got out. Good out for sure, considering where we are now. But yeah, good out there on Facebook. This name just continues to fall. You could pick some up, 322.50. I'm not going to because of my Apple exposure and my Palantir exposure, but this is not a horrible spot now for Facebook if you did like this.
Yeah, I was just looking at a couple of, I checked back in on Qualcomm, and I'll get to that in a second, and Overstock, and was looking at Facebook as well, Sean. But in a day where the market sells off like that, I'm a little bit pleased to see that Coinbase, while it did pull back off of 300, not exactly a gigantic move, not threatening those lows. So this is a stock it's turned relatively stable again. So if you look at the last week, if you just look at actually this week, let's talk about this week. If you look at this week, it's basically got a $15 range, and a lot of the time, mostly it's chop inside the middle of that range. So you're getting a bit of stabilization in a day where the market is weak, and you might have thought there'd be a sell-off that would have at least tested the low. That's a good sign for Coinbase. I had previously thought that the next time I added to the stock was going to be on a break of that low at 280 and start thinking about in front of that 250 reference price they had. I'm starting to get away from that. I kind of feel like there might be a price above, a time above that 300 mark if we get back there in the next couple of days where you can pick this one up. I love the stability that it put in, but you were just talking about Facebook, and I had mentioned I was going to go back and look at Overstock. So here we go. This out here, I mean, I get out when it breaks that 78, and I'll pull it back a little bit so you guys can sort of see. You know, you had that little dip to 78, and this was off that monster move that it had. It went up 10% from the bottom here from that pre-market breakout price on earnings, guys. So the first move was from 77. It then had that dip opening range price to 78. Now, keep in mind, all of the volume came after the open. This didn't really trade volume in the pre-market, so I don't love levels like that. So when it breaks 78, I get out. It's now holding consolidation down here, and I started to think about, okay, I loved this name before. It was my best performing stock to the long side off of the open. I did average into it and then take the hit of $2. I want to see if it can hold this, and now fresh low at like 77.25 since the open. If it can hold that level, and the market's trying to hold up, and it bounces, or if we can just simply break back up through this level here, like 79.25. Either one of those are going to get me back into the long trade. Things have simmered down in the market, and we're still green overall. I mean, NASDAQ and the ES are still positive. Overstock still up 10%. Everything that was great about the earnings report is still true. So I'm looking for an entry point here, either a break upside 79.25, or we bounce off that low and do not break 77 quarters, and I would just get in off that low of the day. But either way, I want to get back into some overstock here.
Coming up, guys, in about 10 minutes, we're very, very excited. Cloud9, guys, Web3 Technologies. Find out what they're all about coming up with Brendan in just a couple minutes. So stay tuned. We've seen a lot of these cloud names, man, rally through. We saw Google's cloud busting up. I mean, look, it's the right space. It's the right everything. Let's just wait to see what their market's all about, what their business is about. I'm excited for sure for that one coming up very, very shortly. And what's coming up right now for me is money, 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 hopefully, on Apple. We took out another piece there. So these are all for flat trades. So all Apple needs to do now is go up, and we'll make money on Apple. So right now, this is our average price, $134.29. So we are in the money after picking up some low bids, man. I have no idea what Apple's doing down here. I thought that was an amazing quarter. Look at the numbers on that quarter, right? But again, some of these stocks priced to perfection before earnings, and you know, if you don't come with better than perfection, which I thought Apple did, you are going to get hit a little bit today. I don't think this name is anywhere near here when we come back with you guys at 3:15, but I don't know. We've been wrong before. You saw that Facebook chart looking quite nasty. What we are right about so far, though, is MindMed. Took another piece out right there. I told you this was our largest position. We're going to make back everything that we lost on MindMed. But again, you know, that break early on the morning, man, we got duped into a lot of longs today. The NASDAQ was up huge. That should have been the indication there to let it come back in just a little bit there. I'm still excited for the PaySafe report that's going to be coming in May. We have Amazon today. Facebook's still up 5% as I look back at that name. So there is some love to come through there. And then what a great opportunity this was on AMD, man. Like, again, yesterday, beat down yesterday. And then today, we come in and we bottom pick AMD. Like, amazing. This was a stop order that triggered, so in and out at the same price there. But AMD, like, nice move to the upside. That's a name that we're positive on today as well. We trade a little bit of Ether. So there's some positive names. Plug Power. Ford, definitely not. And of course, now Ford, yeah, rockabye baby all the way to the upside right here. Like, makes me sick because how many outs? Like, we talked that out and we got that out right there when we were trying to hold for some longs. But we're only back into this area, so nothing to really cry about. I would be getting out here anyways. It looks like we may go 18-2 this month, guys, on the show for you. So, okay, that's not a bad ratio, but we always want to find some more winners. So let's just go, guys.
Yeah, let's going to power up. Just breaking through VWAP is going to be a U.S. Steel here. So strong like Shaq, I suppose. Is he still strong? I guess he is. He's a big boy. You go to what essentially works for you, and what I thought was going to be value. Like, where would money start to step into this market that I was sort of confident about? And it wasn't a NASDAQ name, unfortunately. If I'd picked one, that would have been fantastic. But we do have that U.S. deal. I didn't add to it. It just broke VWAP. I'm trying to hold the last little bit, like I said, through this break, just in case we can continue to go through 23 even. I'd like to buy a dip, and I'm still sitting here down around that 2260 area, so I don't mind getting back into it if it gives me the entry point, but you got to take profits on your longs in a situation like this. It is a decent bounce in the ES, about 10 handles so far. If the market goes up, you watch out for some of your shorts. I don't think, I should say, I didn't think that we'd have too much of an issue with that UXIN. One of the reasons you take profit, and I talk about this with that Clover, is that if you average back into it, you still leave yourself some room that if I like more at like that 305 range, I can go ahead and do so because I've taken some profit out on the stock and you've lightened the load on your position. Now we're trying to break out. The volume is still pretty low on this, as I sort of like give you that bigger look here. The volume's still trying to creep up here. Not a huge spike to the upside on this move in that breakthrough VWAP. So that kind of tells me this isn't exactly ripping the face off in the rally. If it turns around at 305, I'd probably get some more shorts at three even. So for me, U.S. Steel, I'm still looking to get into that overstock, but I needed to break out through that quarter market, that 79 quarter mark, for me to get that entry point. So being a little bit picky with that one, there's a little bit of a turnaround there in UXIN. So I feel pretty comfortable getting more shares between 3 and 305.
All right. Yeah. I mean, look. I don't have much to say right now other than we're just waiting for this market to battle back. I do have another offer right here on MindMed to see if we can get out of that one. We talked about MRK earlier today. Oh, you know which name that reported and we sort of forgot about it was Bristol Myers. So let's have a quick look at Bristol Myers. They are down today here on the day. Down, I think it was down 3 or 4% at one point. Yeah, so still down that 4%. Bristol Myers bouncing off 63 right now. Brendan, give us the good.
I'm just going to mention another earnings name here, one that I guess is pretty obvious. Hershey. A lot of people are eating chocolate maybe during the pandemic here. HSY, all-time highs, guys, just met there, or just tagged all-time highs. Volume coming in at 165 here for HSY.
Not too bad for Hershey there. I feel like we should mention, there's one name that was, I guess, anticipated to be it had the worst results of the FANGs, but somehow was only down like 1%. Well, not even 1%. Netflix actually almost tested that 500 level that we talked about here. So we sort of threw this one out and saying, can Netflix hold 500 throughout the rest of the reporting? We haven't got Amazon yet, obviously, so we'll see what happens there. But if this market makes another leg down, yeah, I'd probably be shorting Netflix through that 500 level, and maybe that's going to be a tomorrow play. I guess we have one day left for that to happen through the end of the week. I'd probably be looking to momentum short this one through. If there's another leg down when we get the final reports on earnings, and Netflix, of course, being the worst of the bunch there, at least in the short term. I still love the company. I think there's a momentum short through 500. Good sign that it's held up at least for today. I was a little bit shocked by that. I guess I shouldn't have been. I just got those shares in UXIN, just to update you guys. Oops, that's still my daily chart. I just got those shares on UXIN right in the middle of that 3 to 305 range. So like I said, gave myself some room to be able to average into this one, not get too overzealous by taking too many shares at 95 and not taking any profit out when it got to those low 80s. You scalp that 10 to 15 cents. I'll do the same thing if we retrace back through 95, get into those low 90s, take some out as well in that 85 range. So you rinse and repeat. This is lunchtime. And if you're not, close to lunchtime, if you're not willing to sort of scalp some of these trades when you have them, especially in the small cap range, you almost shouldn't be trading at that time of day because you're still exposed to like a squeeze to the upside. So if you're not taking any profit out here, the risk to reward is not going to make any sense, guys. And 23 does feel like it's a bit of resistance on U.S. Steel. It's tried once, it's tried twice, it's trying a third time here. Now we're getting some barcode action. If I had a long that was more in the 75 range, I'd probably consider just taking it out and then maybe getting back in on a 23 break. But because we're happily priced, the only thing I might do is step my bid up to like the mid 60 just in case there is a bit of a dip down, just to make sure I get into it. But 23 is being tested again. If it's a failed break, I'll probably put a trailing stop in at VWAP, but we're not there yet. We're just comfortably sitting in the money on that name. Tesla, I wanted to mention. I think it's the first day of the week that I haven't traded Tesla. I'm not ignoring it. It was just there was a lot of other bigger cap names that, I guess to my chagrin, that I decided to trade today. If we can hold this area here, 687, because the 87s for whatever reason I happen to like on this stock, if we can hold this area here and continue this push, I kind of like Tesla through that 687. We're not quite there yet, and I need the volume also to pick up. You want volume to be a concern, well, not concern. You want volume to be part of your methodology for getting into some trades. I'm not really seeing it yet on Tesla, but if maybe the market gets going a little bit more here today, we can get a volume spike, and then we can start thinking about that Tesla long 687. But it's on the radar, and it's still no breakout in overstock, but I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, we're finally getting that break, that big one, hopefully now, if we can get this on Apple. So we're in the money, 17 cents, making back everything on this name. So, you know, sometimes you got to believe in your positions, and you guys know that. We've believed in this Apple trade, therefore, you know, resting in some of these longs, and we're just resting our trade now. If we can get up to VWAP here, that's going to be a 50-cent win. So we'll take out another piece if we can get up there. Like, I only want to take out like maybe 30% or so if we can get back near these levels. It doesn't have to go right to 80, but like 70s, you know, we trade around 75. So I think that's a good opportunity for us to trade through on AAPL. So 134.70 are my outs there, and let's hope it gets there as we go over now to our guest of the day with Brendan.
Yeah, cryptocurrency markets have been in focus as Bitcoin continues to make impressive moves and kind of lifting the entire group of coins that we talk about here on a daily basis along with it. The space of education in the cryptocurrency market and also the mining side of things in the cryptocurrency market. Very, very interesting one. Cloud9 Web3 Technologies has a very interesting concept that we're going to hear about here today. Sefton Fincham is president and CEO of Cloud9 Web3 Technologies and joins us on the show. Good to see you, Sefton. Thanks for doing this today. This is a really interesting concept, and I want to jump right into things here. First of all, just give us an overview of how things got started with the company, but I really want to jump right into the actual platform that you guys have created because it's really interesting.
Sure. Yeah, the company was developed several years ago during the first kind of boom in cryptocurrency, and it was developed as a software-driven crypto mining device where you could download it onto your computer, and once you downloaded it, it would just start mining cryptocurrencies on your computer. The company had a time when, you know, obviously in 2017 everything kind of shifted, and we put development to the side a little bit, and then in the last couple of years, we started to kind of ramp things up and realized that it was something that was much more efficient and productive for the general public as opposed to just going out and buying cryptocurrencies. So that's kind of where we've focused our mandate.
I love the fact that you've included an education portion into this because I think there's a lot of people out there that are still kind of, not uneducated, but still wondering a lot about the cryptocurrency market. So this is a multifaceted approach kind of to this topic and to this space in that we're talking about trading, we're talking about education, we're talking about even, a wallet to hold some of these coins in. Let's go through each one of these and explain how they work.
So it's a very intimidating industry, and so we wanted to focus this on being something that would be an easy gateway into cryptocurrency for the general public, for the average Joe, so to speak. And where we wanted to kind of fixate was the education position first. We wanted to show people that this is where it begins. This is where this is how cryptocurrencies work. This is how all these different kind of intimidating factors of this industry work, blockchain, all this kind of stuff. So we created kind of a funnel, and in doing that, we created a vertical called Next Decentrum. And Next Decentrum has courses, it has quick and dirty guides to blockchain, cybersecurity, all these different verticals within that space. But we focused on the education side first. And what we did is we created that funnel, whereas people will come in, learn a little bit about it first, and then we gave them early access into a software that would cut the intimidation out of buying cryptocurrency. So, you download this platform onto your computer. Your computer begins utilizing the bandwidth on the computer to mine cryptocurrencies. And so that will give you kind of that early stage into cryptocurrency without having to spend money, without having to go to these crypto exchanges and, go and send money to God knows where and have this little code be used to send money into this new wallet you've got. It's a very intimidating process. So we wanted to kind of cut that and give people an opportunity to get in a very quick, efficient, and safe manner. And so that's where we kind of began. We also offered a VPN as a gateway into that to securitize the computer that the cryptocurrencies are going onto. And then we also created in recent months an X2 wallet and a platform for trading from cryptocurrency into fiat, or trading into from cryptocurrencies into other cryptocurrencies and altcoins. So that's kind of the ecosystem, so to speak, of the Limitless platform and the next Decentrum platform. And those were two pillars that we focused on first and foremost. And then the third pillar, which we're in the midst of focusing on, is the data center side of things. But I want to just touch on the point that our mandate truly is focusing on the decentralization of crypto mining. We've got a keen eye on decentralized storage as well, but the decentralized element of building a user base is what is really key to what we are. We want to build out that user base. We want to build out the ability to add applications to more and more users, have millions and millions of users, because when the phoenix rises out of the ashes, if a winter comes for this industry, that's where we see the longevity.
And the value as well. And I want to talk a little bit about some of these testing and beta versions of the software. If somebody's getting into this for the first time, it's a great opportunity to kind of get your feet wet a little bit and experience what this is like without really being overly committed or overly educated. We'll talk about the revenue here in a second, but give everyone an overview of how the beta version testing is going and what the user base looks like today.
It's great. We're on a 5,000 user beta testing round right now. We've got, we probably could have unveiled the tech to the general public sooner, but we really wanted to harness the issues that our beta users were having, and we wanted to correct them and make sure that it's the best possible product. We have a wait list of 125,000 users right now, and it's growing every single day. Once we start onboarding, we'll be able to do 10,000 users a week, and with some acquisitions we're looking at, we're hoping to build that into millions and millions of users in the coming months and years. So it's very exciting. We've got an intermediate position in this as well, which is the micro block miner, which once you get to that place where you've downloaded the software onto your computer, we also have a device that you can buy. It's much like an Xbox or a PS5, and it looks like one, and it gets mailed to you. It's about $600, $700. You plug it in your wallet home, and it's a software-driven hardware. So you can choose what cryptocurrency you want to mine. There's about 6 that we offer right now. And you plug it into the wall. It connects to our X2 platform, same platform that the mining software on the computer links to. And you can plug that in. It mines about $80 worth of cryptocurrency per month. And that's our intermediate. That's how we're kind of giving the general public that ability to, step and gap up into these different levels of the industry.
So on a breakdown, people hear that number and their ears kind of perk up and they say, "Hey, I can maybe make $80 a month." Let's break down the revenue model here. How is the company actually, producing revenue? First off, on a split basis here, and let's really talk about a little bit how people can profit from this as well.
Yeah, so the monetization for the actual company is very simple. So when you download this software onto your computer, we give you the ability to mine cryptocurrency using that software. In doing so, we also securitize your computer with a virtual private network, and we also have the ability to offer, obviously, a position in what we're mining on that computer. We started the company not doing that. We started the company just offering a free VPN. And in doing that, we would use the unused bandwidth, and we would mine cryptocurrencies. And the company did very well in the early stages at that point. With the beta version, obviously, and going through things, we learned that we wanted to let people participate in mining these cryptocurrencies. So we offer a 50% profit share on that, and our user profit per month, it ranges between $10 to $12 per user per month on the software on the computer, and that all is dependent on the computer. So on gaming computers, it's a lot higher. On older computers, it's can be about $6 a month. But an average floating average is around $10 to $12, and we split that with the user. So for the general public, for the average user, you can make $6 a month off your computer, and it's just sitting in the background of your computer. It's not doing anything that would compromise what you would do on a daily basis.
Sefton Fincham is president and CEO of Web3, Cloud9, Cloud9 Web3 Technologies. Let's wrap things up with a little bit of a look forward here, Sefton, as we kind of wrap up our chat. Give us a look at what is next, how the beta will wrap up, and then what can people look forward to in the future?
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of touch on this one more time, we're very focused on the decentralized network side of things. We really want to build an army of users out there, an army of miners. Every computer is a miner. Every computer can be considered a node. We want to build out a massive base of users and apply applications to those users. In doing that, we've had a focus on decentralization, focus on storage, focus on crypto mining, and now we're looking at data centers. We're looking at a few opportunities right now to build out and to actually acquire data centers in this industry. So, that's kind of the roadmap that I can discuss today. It's very exciting. We've got some incredible things on the cusp, and I think our stakeholders are going to be very pleased with how things go over the next few months.
Great space to be involved in, and an interesting time to be involved in that space. I hope we can touch base again and get an update in the future, because it's a very interesting idea. Best of luck.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Guys, check it out. It's CNI, stock ticker on the CSE, and CLGUF, OTC markets, Cloud9 Web3 Technologies. Guys.
Thanks again, once again, Brennan, for another fantastic interview. And speaking of Cloud9, we can at least come back to a few decent trades here. Look, I only have a couple on here because we have 3 minutes to go. Wowzers. But UXIN, I talked about that Clover debacle, whatever. It is what it is. I talked through that trade and how the entry points matter. So I waited around and got those 302s. And I said, if it gets back in the low 90s, I'll scalp that 10% winner. Now, at the end of the day, at this 285 to like 303 range, let's call it 305, or in this 20-cent range, as long as it holds in here, I want to be taking profit throughout it. I still have some bids that I've thrown in to get the lower end of that band. If it breaks through, I'm still bidding in that 75 and 80 range to test the low. This gives me the flexibility, if I like it, to add back into it. Now, I don't think this is a time where I would probably add on this move. If I get a secondary push down below 290 on UXIN, at that point, if I get some profit there, I'll certainly look to get that add. US Steel as well. There was the battle at 23, of course. I talked about it needing to break through there. I got this long here, if you can kind of make it out, at 22.55. It broke out. I missed the re-entry point. I got another bid to try and catch a dip when it started to slide down, but it never really continued through. So, look, if I don't get filled for more, it can kind of mean a good thing, because stock's going up. Market's trying to hold some of these, some of the retraced gains that they're making here. US Steel was one of the bottom picks we had. The other one I tried to get back into Overstock has not broken my entry point, that 79.25. It's still lingering on its low of the day, despite its positive report. Brennan?
All right, I mentioned early on this morning, it's another big day for earnings, guys. 11% of the S&P 500 reporting either aftermarket tonight or before the open tomorrow. So a lot to look at on here. Again, wow, I just saw Microvision on there today.
Yeah, NEO, yeah, MVIS going to be on there. Yeah, good look there. ExxonMobil, I mean, AstraZeneca. I mean, there's looks like there's names on here that obviously not as much as today, but yeah, big names there. Western Dig in the same spot there. We've seen AMD and NVIDIA and all those names fall down a little bit here, including Intel. So I like some of those. Oh, and there's restaurant brands there. What's up to Tim Hortons?
Yeah, oh my goodness, Timmy's. Don't say that word. I could use a fritter today. Look, it's an interesting day, and I think if there's a key takeaway for this, I think, when you get one of these days like today, we're trying to claw back into that Greensville action off some of these bottom picks. You go back to what works for you. You get a little bit more disciplined. You heard Sean do that. I try to do that same thing. Pick your spots, slow yourself down a little bit, realize the market's still up about 2%, and then have a smile come back to your face when we get to do this. I know you guys don't want to see my ugly mug for too much longer. So let's go to Miss V for what National Day it is. This will put a smile on your face.
You're very handsome, Neil. Well, guys, we will be back at 3:15, so rest well and then come back to trade the close together. Thank you very much for spending this morning with us. And guys, if you haven't liked this video yet, please do it right now. We need just 400 more likes to reach 2,000 likes. Happy National Shrimp Scampi Day, everyone.
Shrimp scampi.
Scampi.
Oh yeah, baby. Like throw it down. Give me like a bourbon Manhattan, because that's the only way to go, obviously. And then let's jam to that. And I don't know if we're getting shrimp for lunch today, but I like me some seafood a lot. Let's just say. So it's been an awesome morning. Make sure you come back for 3:15, because you know that fastest hour is going to be wild. When you have market moves like this, when you have the wealth of earnings, when you have so much volatility sort of pent up in the market, the close is going to have some action to it, and we'll be back to give it all to you guys. But it is 11:30, so you know we got to go right down the line here. Here we are. For Ms. V, for my man Sean Katina, for Brendan Wickens, I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. We'll see you at the close.
Bye, guys.